America's favorite odd couple is back on pay-per-view.
Shut up, moron. Shut up.
Crankier and grumpier than before.
Buon appetito.
Should we ask her for some garlic bread?
I'd rather kiss a dead moose's butt.
So I'll call you?
Jack Lemmon, Walter Matthau, and Margaret, Sophia Loren. The comedy hit Grumpier Old Men on pay-per-view.
Vacation. The least you can do is pretend to work.
Break bags are their business. Savings are their mission.
We don't take no for an answer.
No.
Okie dokie.
And disaster is their bottom line. Chris Farley.
That guy a little cold.
Did you live under power lines as a kid or something?
David Spade. Tommy Boy.
It looks real.
Everything they ever wanted.
We got that's too.
But when they stumbled into the Biodome,
The doors are sealed.
all they needed
We're stuck here.
was a way out. Pauly Shore,
What do you boys want? To die and come back as a leotard?
Stephen Baldwin,
Hemp is an excellent source of photosynthesis.
Excuse me?
Biodome, rated PG-13.
We're heading for Sturgis. The bad boys and girls of WCW straddle their hogs and head for the world-famous Sturgis Rally. We're gonna take you places you've never seen before. You'll smell the gasoline burning and hear the tires squeal. Make the ride to Sturgis for WCW's Hog Wild. Saturday, August 10th, live and only on pay-per-view.
Billy Zane is Detective Joe D. Foster in a riotous takeoff on a Hollywood classic.
A woman has disappeared, and I fear that she's fallen into the hands of the psycho killer. Don't you understand? He hates his mother. What? Right.
Nightmarish nostalgia.
Yes.
Maniacal murders.
I didn't even get a chance to...
Dom DeLuise and Martin Mull co-star in The Silence of the
Of all
Hand.
the things I've lost, I think I miss my mind the most.
Philadelphia is a dumb, smelly, weird-looking town filled with buttholes. What's going on, guys? Happy Sunday and happy classic WCW tonight. Pay-per-view watch-along as we continue our Halloween Havoc watch-along since we are in the month of November. And we're going to watch a good one tonight, Halloween Havoc 1998. Hulk Hogan and The Warrior, along with Goldberg and DDP in the main event, and a pretty stacked card. And according to Peacock here, this is a 3-hour and 16-minute long pay-per-view because of the screw-up with the Goldberg and DDP match and the pay-per-view running long. So we got a pretty good one tonight to watch. Halloween Havoc 1998, I am ready for that. It's been a busy day in sports. Houston and the Yankees are about to kick off here in Game 4 of that series. The Padres wrap things up tonight against Philly, losing all 3 games in Philadelphia. They are out. Phillies move on to the World Series. Congratulations to those assholes. Mexican food is better than cheesesteaks. I don't care what anybody says. And I hope the Astros beat the Yankees and then go on to beat the Phillies, and I hope they cheat and don't get caught. I'm kidding. That's just bitter Greg talking, since the Padres had a hell of a season. Thought for sure we had a legitimate chance to go to the World Series, but the Phillies made quick work of us. We only took 1 game in that series, and it was close, but that's the way life goes. I'm used to living in cities with shitty sports teams, so I'm not used to this type of stress. And I was really rooting for the Padres hard today, but it was not to be. But life goes on, and you can't grieve forever. And we have to watch one hell of an athletic contest tonight between Hogan and the Warrior. These two put on an absolute clinic. When you think of the greatest wrestling matches of all time, it's probably Hogan Warrior, Savage Steamboat, Omega Okada. You know, Hogan and Warrior is right on top. There's no touching those two guys. So I thought it would be fun tonight to sit and watch this together as we monitor some football scores. I think it's Pittsburgh and Miami is the Sunday night game in the NFL. And of course, Houston has a chance to go to the World Series tonight if they beat the Yankees. And we are going to watch 3 hours and 15 minutes of WCW goodness. I hope you all are ready. Let me cruise over to the chat and say hello. Make sure I can be heard and seen. Right on. Okay, I can see myself. Although my quality is in 360p, 1080p. There we go. Right on. Now I can see myself clearly, and good to see everybody hanging out with us tonight. This should be a fun one. You guys have been recommending this one for a while. I've been putting it off. Today is the actual anniversary of Halloween Havoc 1994. Our buddy Clyde recommended that one last week, and I'm like, you know what? I think that's one we should do. It'll be a great day, actual anniversary of it. We'll watch that. But then I thought about 98, and I took a look at the 2 cards side by side, and I'm like, you know what? This one I think would be more fun for us as a group to watch, because it's a loaded card, a lot of matches, and of course, lots of stuff to talk about. And I ordered this pay-per-view from home that year. I've told the story many times, from my apartment, and I didn't suffer the feed loss. The rest of the country didn't get to see Goldberg and DDP, but I did. I knew nothing. I didn't know anything happened. Everybody was talking about it the next day. They had to replay the match on Nitro. I heard all about it in the hotlines, and fuck if I knew. I was perfectly, completely oblivious to the fact that the pay-per-view got cut off for the majority of the country. I also have the VHS tape here, and let me ask you guys, is this not the ugliest fucking box cover for any DVD you've ever seen from WWE or WCW? This is terrible. And this must have been this new WCW logo. As you can tell, I picked these up on eBay. It's got some sort of video rental sticker on it. But they've got the new WCW logo up top. I didn't think that logo debuted until 99 or late 98. So I guess by the time this VHS was produced and distributed, they had changed the logo and slapped it on top there. But it's a very, very ugly pay-per-view box art. It's disgusting. WCW had really low-rent looking shit back then. And the back is no picnic either. So it's a very, very ugly VHS tape. I have the original recording from pay-per-view in my own collection. And of course, tonight we're going to be watching it on Peacock, which you're going to want to go to the WCW tab, find your Halloween Havocs, go to Season 10, Episode 1. I don't have an exact runtime until I click on this, so let's take a look at what it says. 3 hours, 16 minutes, and 14 seconds, according to Peacock. So you know the drill. In just a couple minutes here, we will all hit play together. And the timer right above my head will start to move, and we can just follow along with that no matter what. Something I also realized, I'm such a moron, I didn't even know this, but apparently, see the timer above my head, how it's kind of moving already? I didn't realize that I could move this thing. I can move it. I didn't think I could do that. We had one timer malfunctioned a few months back, and I didn't really know how to rectify it. I had to hook up a second camera to put it on the screen to get the timer, and apparently I could have adjusted that the whole time, and I kind of realized that with the latest OBS update. I'm seeing all these new bells and whistles that I wasn't really aware of, so we should have no timer issues, and even if the camera freezes, I even know how to fix that, so we should have no problems tonight. The only thing that could happen is I could get struck in the head by lightning, and we lose our internet feed. Hopefully that won't happen, and we'll be able to watch Halloween Havoc 1998 with no issues. Let me say hi to all the channel members in here. Good to see all those Hitman, Good Mic Work logos. Tatanani, John J.E. Dennett. We've got Zach Palgett. We Are Pro Wrestling is in the house as well. JJ Leg is here. Dreadhead Dre, Ray Frand. Jay Lambo is here. Dreadhead Dre, I got you already. Hassan, Colin Norman Wright, good to see you. Ben Espinoza, and How Wheezy in the house. Sorry, Greg, but my Phillies are going to the World Series. I know, How Wheezy. Don't remind me. Don't remind me, How Wheezy. Congrats to you. I'm not going to sit there and shit on them too much other than throwing a little digs at Philly here or there just because I'm bitter and I'm a whiny little loser. That's all. That's my only excuse tonight. If I have anything bad or disparaging things to say about Philly tonight, just chalk it up to Greg being a sore loser, okay? We've got David in the house as well. Hosea, we got Al Cobbs. Jimmy's Reviews and Archives is here. Ratnick is in the house. Anthony J. Mr. Koki. Victor Cologne. The Juliet. Anthony L. I'm not sure if I got you yet either, my friend. Good to see you. Jeff McMahon is in the house. Another channel member. Right on. Cool little crew gathering around in the chat already. George Morris is here as well. So is David Brown. Good to see you, my friend. George, appreciate that $5. Hey, Greg, how are you doing? How are your cats? WCW Halloween Havoc 1998. 10 out of 10. Watched this in my home in Merrillville, Indiana with my ex. Interesting. I watched this in my apartment by myself. Normally for pay-per-views, I would have people over, but that was mostly for WWE shows. So I don't recall why I was by myself for this pay-per-view, but I have memories of sitting in my house alone watching this pay-per-view. So I must have just been all alone that night. And you were with your ex in Indiana. I was in North Kakalaki. And you ever think, George, that maybe we were looking up at the sky and I see the moon and you're looking at the same moon? Is that Joe Dirt? George Morris, we might have been looking at the same moon. Who knows? Ronnie, brother. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Everybody show Ronnie some love. He is suffering from pneumonia, which sucks. I got your message, my friend. Really hope you're doing well. Just remember to rest up. Do not go to work. Rest. Drink your fluids. Do whatever the doctor tells you. No, pneumonia is no joke, and it can grow into worse things. So just make sure you take care of yourself and take care of yourself and take care of yourself. That's the most important thing, Ronnie, and it's good to see you in here tonight as well. Should be fun. Oh, yeah, there you go. Letting us know about the pneumonia. Man, oh, man. No good. No bueno. But best of luck to you, Ronnie. We love you. Terror Schism 99. What's going on? Good to see you as well. All right, that should do it for the pleasantries and whatnot. We should start watching this pay-per-view because it's a long one, and we're going to be here all night if I don't hit play soon. So hopefully you guys have pulled up your cock. If you don't have a premium service or anything like that and you got to sit through ads, go ahead and do that. Get all your zeros across the board there on the bottom. And when we hit play, don't skip any intros or anything like that, and just keep your Peacock timer synced with the timer above my head, and everything will be just peachy. And it'll be fun as well. So I hope you guys are ready for Halloween Havoc. I'm going to take a sip of my cold one. Cheers to you. I got my Stella's back. Only a couple of these left. And then I got to dip back into those Modelo's. But I also have my best friend Gummy sitting over here as well. So it's a good night. Despite the fact that the Padres lost, it's a good night at the Podcastle here in GMW land. And happy Halloween. So this is the fourth, I believe, Halloween Havoc we have done. We have done 95, 96, 97, and now 98. We did 1996 last week. We did 95 and 97 last year. And here we're doing 1998. So this is going to be fun. I'm ready for it. Hopefully you guys are too. All right, let's get our fingers on the triggers here. I got one on the trigger, or I'm sorry, I got one on the play button, one on the timer, as always for me, because I dual PC these deals. It's the only way to really make it work in my mind is to have two computers going when you're doing this. So here we go. All right, I am queued up, and we're going to do a countdown from 3. Y'all ready to go? Here we go. 3, 2, 1, play. I am 2 seconds off. How do we fix this? Just get your Peacock to match that timer. I'm like 2 seconds behind here. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to get it to match up. There we go. There we go. All right, I'm matched up. This is my first botch. We've been doing this for, what, year and a half? I didn't really hit the timer exactly at the same time as I hit the play button. We were about 2 seconds off. But if you just pause your Peacock, wait for the other one to catch up, and then hit play, you can match up. You guys know what to do. You got your devices. Just make sure your shit matches a minute above my head, and we have got this. All right, they're giving us some sort of weird intro here at the Havoc. I didn't catch if any of that music was dubbed at all or anything. Botching for Hogan. Yeah, it was like me doing the flash paper. But that was a minor botch. That's just a 2-second botch. Technically, you don't have to do anything. We can just be 2 seconds off. Not a big deal. But I like to be exact, you know. Well, this definitely sounds like their normal music here. That's what they used to use, and I love that set. Look at that pumpkin bouncing around. So cool. I guess I never really truly realized that thing was inflatable. I guess that's the only way it's got to be. I miss those pay-per-view sets. I didn't even see what the NXT set looked like last night for Halloween Havoc. I caught the results of the show. Congrats to Wes Lee. That made me happy. He won the North American title. A lot of people calling for Carmelo Hayes to hit SmackDown now, join Hit Row. But, man, this set was where it's at, man. Don't be scared of my spider and my ghost. Don't be scared. It's okay. They won't hurt you. Hogan and Warrior. I forgot about Horace Hogan. I think part of the reason why I bought this pay-per-view that night is I felt obligated. I mean, I sat in my living room with my family and watched Hogan and Warrior at WrestleMania 6. And I knew the match was going to be shit, you know, but curiosity, you know, pure curiosity. To see that visual of Hogan and the Warrior in the ring again, never thought we'd see that match. Only happened once in WWE. What's Weasel wearing? Bobby's got that mask on. Do they not see Bobby wearing that? Oh, Schiavone. Oh, the Nitro Girls. They're not pay-per-view girls. They're Nitro Girls. What are the Nitro Girls doing out here? This isn't Nitro. So there's Sean's wife, Rebecca, over there on the left. Kimberly looks to be in the middle on the back. Let's see if I remember any of these other ones. I don't remember the other ones. I mean, I remember their faces, but I don't recall their names. I think it was like Fire and Storm. They're like American Gladiators, like names like that. Ice. Fire Ice. Kimberly was just off the charts hot. Anybody ever see Kimberly in 40-Year-Old Virgin? Her little cameo there? She shows her little nipple. I mean, I will give WCW this. This wasn't a horrible idea. I mean, I always kind of chuckled at the Nitro Girls. I mean, of course, they're all smoking hot. But other than that, I was always like, this is stupid. But it really wasn't. I mean, that was a male-driven product back then. You know, you should have a bunch of sexy girls dancing in the ring back in these times. I'm surprised WWE didn't try something like this. They would go a little overboard with their, hey, Gene, bra and panties matches in later years, but So cool. Rick Steiner. Oh, is he facing Brother Scott? Is this the night where Steiner's got to wrestle like 2 dudes or something? I think there's a match in WCW where Steiner wrestles 2 guys and wins. I forgot. It might be this one. Okay. Okay, never mind. Rick and Scott. Interesting that they're opening up a pay-per-view with the announcers talking, then Nitro Girls shaking their booties, and now Mean Gene with an interview. Ooh, what's going on here? Oh, hey, Buffer. All right, there's a turn here. I kind of remember this. Yeah, we're sick of Big Papa Pump. He can't fucking add. I think Big Papa Pump was in the middle of being formed right now, wasn't he? Can't remember when Scott turned. I know it was in a match with the NWO. I thought that was in '97. So I think he's been Pop. I can't remember, man. Like, when did Steiner have, like, the girls with him, like Medeja? That was 98, right? Yeah, he was already Big Papa Pump, yeah. I think 98 was that year that he cut the promo talking about Austin and shit in the ring. Wasn't that the same year? Actually, that might have been 99. Oh, please. Buff, I don't believe you. I like anybody who had WCW runs or experience pre-Hogan. You know, Bagwell and Steiner were both there previously before Hogan changed the whole company. Oh my God, they got Raven's WCW theme. Lame. Hawk. It sounds okay. I mean, they've done the edit well. Normally when they do these edits, it really quiets. It actually does sound pretty good. They actually handled this edit well. Normally, it's so bad. But Raven used, I guess, like a knockoff of Even Flow, right, for his WCW theme? Or no, maybe he did. Who used Jericho used Even Flow. Raven's finisher was the Even Flow, or he had to move the Even Flow. Raven came out to, maybe it was Come As You Are, I think, Nirvana. So I think Jericho had Even Flow, Raven had Come As You Are, and DDP had Smells Like Teen Spirit, I think, is how that went. But I always thought it was weird that Raven had, or that Jericho had the Even Flow knockoff, because Raven should have the Even Flow knockoff. Is this where the guy grabs Raven? Is this where the mat? Doesn't Raven get attacked by somebody when he's... Oh, he is fighting Jericho. Even better. And they've got the Walls of Jericho. I didn't even know that this was the match. I mean, I peeked at the card last week, but I didn't study it, so... Oh, that's hilarious. Both of these edits sound well. It has not distorted the rest of the audio. It hasn't fucked up the audio to the commentary. Normally it does. It's a good-looking belt Jericho's wearing there. Yeah, Ronnie, you want to be a subscriber to this channel, you got to take with the good with the bad. I don't even think this is going to be all bad. This is going to be a fun pay-per-view. I think it's going to be fun to watch Hogan and Warrior set the business back 50 years. Yeah, that television title, I've had that belt now in my possession for 23 years, that TV title. Got it in 99.
Obviously, it's not been my fault. I've been a victim of circumstances, again, beyond my control. And I have 6 words to say about that. What about me? What about Raven?
Help me out. What is the show that Raven gets, like, attacked by somebody right here? I think it's like a fan. It wasn't an angle, right? Huh. I'm not going to wrestle tonight. I wasn't told ahead of time, and I'm not gonna. See ya. So this is like heel versus heel here. Jericho's already Mr. Jerichoholic Man by now. Okay. That was the same year. It was a Thunder episode. Okay. Now, I reviewed this show a couple years ago. I just don't remember much about it. Jericho and Raven, they never had really many run-ins. They were here together. They were in WWE together, but never really crossed paths much. Oh, wow. Here comes Raven now. Jericho is a pro at that, goading him in. It's funny. I just did a review on this show like 3 years ago. It was funny when I was looking up, trying to find like a logo and stuff online. Whenever I search WCW Halloween Havoc, and like my thumbnail is one of the first things that comes up. And the only thing I remember about doing this review is the day that I was making my thumbnail for it. Friend of the channel, Brian Zane, host of Wrestling with Regret. He actually was in San Diego, came over to my house that day, and when he came in, I had the screen up because I was working on some shit or whatever, and he just looked at it, he goes, are you doing a Halloween Havoc 98 review? He goes, I just put one up like the other day. I'm like, oh, no shit, mine goes up tomorrow. So that's the only thing I remember about this, is that I must have done mine at the same time he did his. But that's probably been 3 years now, so I kind of forgot most of it, but I do remember something was fishy with Bagwell and Steiner later. Bagwell's clearly full of shit, and I don't remember what happens here, but I just think on paper this is an interesting match to see, Raven and Jericho. I'm pretty sure in that review I talked about that even flow, come as you are shit. I bet you I did. Jose Altuve at the plate. Jose Altuve. Is he the one, baseball fans, is he the one that did this thing? Is he that guy? I don't like him. Fuck him. Fuck you, Jose. Jericho with the alfalfa. I loved when Jericho did the ponytail on top. I don't have a picture of it, but back when I had long hair, I dressed up as Jericho for Halloween, and I did my hair wasn't quite as long as his, but I did the ponytail on top. But back then, it's just like not everybody had a phone. Nowadays, I'd have 75 fucking pictures of that night, but back in the day, you just did your thing and didn't take any pictures. There was no Instagram. You went out, you had fun, you went home. And I wore that TV title. I had a sparkly shirt. I look great. Oh. I don't think these guys had any matches in WWE, I feel like they could have had one on Raw, but I just feel like Jericho was on a different tier than Raven when Raven was came in 2000. How long was Raven even there? 2 years? 3 at the most? Probably only 2. Oh my God, what a bump. What a bump. Oh my God. Because I really liked Raven in WCW. Like, I think another problem Raven had was the same problem Taz had in WWE. When they came in, Raven came in after Benoit and Eddie and Jericho and all those guys, and Taz came in at the same time as the Radicals, and it hurt them. But had Raven signed with WWE instead of WCW in like 97, before the influx and the mass exodus of WCW, I think he would have been Intercontinental Champion if he came in around that time. But he took the money, he went to WCW instead and formed the Flock in 97 and, was not a big deal there because of the NWO, but WWE was a little more hurting for talent at that time. And I think if Raven would have taken a lesser pay going to work for Vince, probably could have worn, although he was U.S. champion, I guess, in WCW, so it's not like he did nothing there, but I just think he might have made a bigger impact in WWE. Yeah, that was a gnar landing by Jericho on that guardrail in an unadvertised, unscheduled match, apparently. Victor Colon, thank you for being here. Appreciate the $5. I remember I was watching Backlash 02 on DVD, but WWE edited out the NWO theme, but on Peacock it's not edited. I wish WWE wouldn't do these dumb edits. Me too, because they're never consistent. What bothers me about the edits is you never know when the fuck they're going to edit something. It's not like there's a uniform rule across the board. You can't use this shit on Peacock or whatever. But even on some of the DVDs, like you talked about, stuff is edited. And I don't think I have Backlash 2002. I'm almost certain I don't. On DVD, anyway. Why can't I remember this referee's name? It's not Mickey J. Who is this guy? It's makes me mad. I can't remember. Oof. It is kind of funny how WWE and WCW refs kind of, oh, wow, nice. The WCW refs started going with the WWE look, the short sleeve and bow tie, and then WWE switched over to the stripes. I can't recall when that switch was made. Blue short sleeve shirt with a bow tie, referee look in WWE. I would say, wow, I would say ended maybe in 96. No, maybe in 95. Okay, because there's Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 12 with Earl with the pinstripe. So, yeah, I'd say 95 or something. 94, 95 is when the blue shirt left WWE. Come on, Raven. Oh, Jericho. I was like, why does Jericho's boots say model? It says role model. Oh, there's a lion tamer. Those look to be a version of the tights that Jericho wore on Dynamite recently, but not the same ones. Yeah, the blue shirt and bow tie have been gone since I graduated high school. How crazy is that? None of you guys suffered any ill effects from that 2-second botch at the beginning of the play button, right? We're all still synced up and good to go? Even flow. Is that it? No. No. Kick out by Jericho. Phew. He goes, you're not going to beat me with the move that's my song. That's what Jericho said. Schoolboy by Jericho. Hooks the jeans. Hooks the jorts. I think John Cena stole the jorts look from Raven. No, what's this referee's name? It's not Billy Silverman. It's not Mickey J. It's not Nick Patrick. It's not Pee Wee Anderson. It's... Oh, Canyon's here. Oh, wow. Wow, Canyon took a shot. Wow, he tapped out quick. I love how he... I love that. Jericho doing that celebration at some point in my life. I have cropped that out and put it on Twitter or something, the video of that. I don't remember when, what year, or whatever, but that whole thing strikes a memory of me saying, that's funny. I want to put that on Twitter. Who knows what year I did that. I just had my 11-year Twitter anniversary the other day. You should have seen the sexy negligee I got it. Oh, man. Twitter looked so sexy when it put that on. Just the cleavage and everything. Oh, my God. So, yeah, we had a nice anniversary together. Oh, yeah. I remember Ravens losing streak and the mother thing, all that stuff. Scott Dickinson. Thank you, Foxstar Killer. You are right. That's who it is. I was thinking I knew it was something, so I was thinking Silverson or Dickinson. No, Colin, that's not Charles Robinson, but it's Scott Dickinson. That's who it is. Referee Scott Dickinson. That sounds right. Yachiro, sorry about your Padres. You're a little worried about your Yankees. Yachiro, you need to be a lot worried about your Yankees. I mean, I know they did it once against Boston all those years ago, but they are not winning 4 in a row. Sorry. This is over. Astros are going to the World Series. Even if the Astros lose here, they're going to the World Series. Astros would be chumps if they lost at this point. So, yeah, if I was you, I'd be more than a little worried, Yachiro. Oh, my God. Oh, Hogan's out here already? It's not time for this, is it? Hogan Warrior going on second? Yeah, I don't think so. Hogan's always jacked. Hogan is such a moron. I forgot what documentary or what video it was on, but what's the interview that Hogan does where he talks about how the promo with Warrior and WCW, Warrior committed the unforgivable sin of revealing to the fans that he beat you at WrestleMania 6 or his backwards ass logic. I'm like, why the fuck is that bad? That's exactly what somebody would normally say in a promo. What do you mean? He's not informing of anybody of anything we don't know. Everybody knows what happened at WrestleMania 6. Fucking idiot. Family values. Yeah, I mean, there was talk. I thought they had plans in place to change WCW Nitro to actually the NWO Nitro. But they changed their mind for some reason. I can't remember why. I think a lot of those shirts was from that. Yeah, I thought Hogan was using Hendrix by this point. He might come out to it later. NWO. Shut up, Hogan. Just whipping your nephew? That's bullshit. I know for a fact I could kick all my uncle's asses. Like, bring it on, Uncle Bob. I'll fuck you up. Oh, Dreadhead Dre's going to remind me of more pain. Not only the Padres get bounced, my old home team, the Lions, also got their asses handed to them. And just when you thought there was a glimmer of hope they were going to have a good year, they are like 1-12 or whatever they are right now. Fuck them. Quite different from the promo Hogan cut before his match at WrestleMania 6. The Saints. Man, Drew Brees lives around my neighborhood where I work, and I've met him a million times. He's a regular in my restaurant and super nice guy. And one of a good friend of mine who is a bartender at the restaurant across the street is really was his best childhood friends with Sean Payton. So when the Saints went to the Super Bowl, he got to go. Sean invited him. He got to stand on the sideline for all that stuff. Then the Saints win the game. He got to party with the whole team, and he put Sean Payton to bed, put him to bed drunk in his hotel room, covered him up with the Super Bowl trophy next to him, passed out. And he was on Sean Payton bedtime duty that night during the team partying or whatever. It was one of the funniest stories. He had a few great pictures of like the big bash and the party afterwards and all that stuff. Really fun. Drew Brees was not taking part in any debauchery, but the rest of the team probably was. But Brees is great. Stepped on his ankle once in the grocery store. Almost ended his season. Could have broken it. Apologized profusely. It's like, it's all good, man. Knew right who I was right away. Asked me how things were going at the restaurant. I'm like, fine. How's your fucking foot? He's like, it's fine. I'm like, I stepped on it. You said, ow. I didn't even know it was him. He was standing in front of me in the grocery line. It was late at night. It was like 11 o'clock. There wasn't nobody there. And he was standing in front of me with his back turned. Didn't even recognize him. He takes a step back and kind of, or no, I was standing in front of him. I'm sorry. I didn't see him behind me. And I took a step back. And when I did, I stepped on his foot. And he kind of was like, whoa, or whatever. I'm like, oh, hi. And then he kind of like started asking me about like how I'm doing and stuff. I'm like, did I hurt you? I'm like, if it gets out on ESPN that some bald-headed fuck in San Diego stepped on your ankle and ended your season, I'm going to have Louisiana people coming after me with pitchforks and flames and knives and shit. Look at the shape that Brian Clark is in. I love the little run that Wrath went on here. Help me out. Was this Wrath's actual music? Or is this edited too? I don't recall what Wrath's music was. Like, he was in way better shape here than he was when he was Adam Bomb. Was weird to see Wrath there, though, because he did not get along with the Clique, I don't think. He did not have a great relationship with Hall or Nash. And plus, he was probably one guy. I mean, he's a big guy, just like Scott Hall is. I'd like to actually see a shoot fight between Brian Clark and Scott Hall back in those days. It'd probably be pretty good. Probably be pretty fucking good. Brian Clark's no joke either. I watched him on a shoot interview once, and he was talking about the Clique, and he said, he goes, I almost just beat the shit out of Scott Hall one day. I'm like, ooh, I would have liked to see that. I would have liked to see that. Would have liked to see you try, Chico. Look at him with the somersault, senton, what do you call that? Yeah, I guess we're not paying enough attention to Wrath's opponent here, who is Ming. Another guy who I've read a thing or two about that might be slightly tough. I think if Ming got in a fight with Fuego del Sol, Ming would have a chance to win. Sure. I mean, if he just trained enough, you know, he could probably get by him in a shoot fight. Man, we got double duty here for Scott Dickinson. Yeah, they don't have the padded ring post for this one. Yeah, I think that padded ring post, like I said last week, I think that had something to do with the Slim Jim. I don't think that was every time. I think that was part of the Slim Jim sponsorship. So Snickers decided not to have padded ring posts. But I also speculated it might have been because they were in Vegas, and Vegas has a lot of boxing fights, and the posts are usually padded, and maybe it was for that effect, but no pads tonight. We got somebody. Yankees are on base. Oh, no, they're doing more than on base. They have scored. Is it 1-0 or 2-0? Looks like one guy's going to score. Hold up at third. 1-0 New York. Well, you better win, New York. Shit. You can't go out like that. You can't go out worse than the Padres did. Yeah, I think we're going to get a Kevin Nash and Scott Hall match later on, which Tristan passed away on Scott Hall's birthday. Just talked about this yesterday a little bit in the podcast, just how bad we feel for Kevin Nash. We love Kevin Nash on this channel, so all the best to him, man. And Sean Oliver posted an update on Twitter, and he did say that Nash is going to address the whole situation soon to his entire podcast family. And to that I say, no rush whenever that is. Don't even feel obligated to do that, but he does. And I'm sure he will talk about it, and he'll be honest, just like he has been with a lot of things regarding Tristan in his life. So Nash is a cool dude who doesn't deserve that. Oh, God. A lot of those contracts Nash signed and a lot of those business decisions he made in his life were done in large part due to Tristan's existence, you know, and his family and him having a family, and, you know, just sad. We got another guy in. Oh, we had bases were loaded there. It is 2-0. There's only one out. Or no, is there no outs? I can't tell how many outs there are. Bottom of the first. Oh, is that a rock bottom? This is such a weird match to have, Wrath and Haku. Okay. Did We Are Pro Wrestling, are you the one that said it was like a $30 Nitro? It's pretty much how it feels. That's right, We Are Pro Wrestling. And when they did the winning streak with Wrath, it was Nash that ended it. And I think that was to help kind of build him for Goldberg, right? See, I ended one streak, I'll end another one. Wow. Wow. That's incredible. I can't remember who else used to do this. So it's like basically a pump handle into a power slam type of thing. Who in WWE used to use that? I forgot. The Meltdown. That's what he called it. It's cool that he called it the Meltdown. Kind of a little hint back to his previous gimmick. Aaron Boone, I watched that game against the Red Sox. What was it, Game 7, right? And he hit that home run. I was living with 2 roommates in a 3-bedroom house, and all 3 of us had our girlfriends over, and the 6 of us watched that home run. And my girlfriend at the time was from New York, so it was a big deal to her. What a home run. That was a great sports moment. 2003, I think. Oh, just cut off Lee Marshall, Thagga Lee, and Billy Kidman. Nobody cares what Billy Kidman has to say. Oh, my God. Speaking of somebody who nobody cares what they have to say, do I even have to look at this fucking fool's face? Ugh. Douchebag Inferno. Motherfucker was an absolute joke. And he criticizes wrestling as if he's some Mount Rushmore fucking legend. It's a Mount Rushmore of shit. You're all four faces on that turd. He's just aggressively assholish, and that's what I just don't understand. Fucking dumb face. Ugly bastard. Terrible dancer. Terrible wrestler. Just an all-around douche. Oh, my God. That is a three. Nope. Fly out. I was about to say, I think they're going to tack three more on with a three-run jack. And that is the end of the first. All right, well, New York, put two on the board. Juventud. You know what? I'm not a huge fan of Juventud either. He's kind of been a little prick in his life a few times. Neither one of these guys are dudes I would really care to have a beer with. But may the best dickhead win. You think you're special because a couple of months ago you were down south beating some jabroni named Juventud? And then after that, Hoovy would come on TV on Nitro, and like when he would climb the ropes like this, he would start going like this. He would start doing the. Remember when The Rock would like do the face thing? Hoovy started doing that after Rock called him out in Jericho's debut. Juventud. Sorry about that. I know T has come across very aggressively on the microphone. Sorry about that. Hopefully I didn't bust any of your eardrums out. This windscreen and filter is all I use. I could put another one up, but I don't think I need it. I like this. I hate those things, those round things. I have like 3 of them. They're horrible. Juventud. I love that ring. I love the WCW ring and the noise it makes. We talked about that last week. We got Little Nate as the referee. He's the best. He's the person I like most in this match as a referee. Bobby Heenan, why would you even... The longer this match goes, it's in Juventud's favor. Like, that's not totally true. Like, it's they always say, like, they always just assume that the smaller of the two is going to do better in longer match situations. I think maybe the leaner of the two, possibly, but if you have two guys in excellent cardiovascular shape and one of them's 230 pounds and the other one's 195 pounds or 220 pounds, if there's a 25-pound weight difference or something, I don't think, it's going to really matter that much. Like, as long as douchebag Inferno puts his idiotic ass on a treadmill a few minutes a day, he should be able to hang with Juventud just fine. Hoovy lost his mask, I think, to Jericho. Bischoff was unmasking everybody. I want to say Jericho's the one that did that, right? When he wearing around his neck for a while. Oh, thanks for that tweet, Mike. Sent me the clip of that fan attacking Raven on Thunder. I just couldn't remember when it was. I was curious if this was the show. It's the same camera angle they use every time when Raven sits like that. So I was like, wait, is this the time that the fan comes up and grabs him? See why I suck at trivia and stuff? Like, I can't do trivia. I have wrestling knowledge. It's in there. Lots of it. But unless it's a personal memory of mine, it's hard for me to remember every little detail of everything. Sometimes not only could I tell you the date something happened, I could tell you what time of day it happened. And then other times I have something a complete year off, or I can't even remember if I have the year right. Like just yesterday, let me see if I'm right before I say this, but just yesterday, let me see if I'm right about that date. 1996. Nope, I'm not right about that. Oh, I was right the other day. Yeah, I was right about that. So not yesterday, 2 days ago on the 20th, I remember looking at my phone and I remember thinking October 20th. Why does that date stick out? I'm like, I think it was Buried Alive. I think it's In Your House Buried Alive. And it was. November to Remember 99 watch along for next month. We can think about that. I don't want to do all Survivor Series. So yeah, we need to do some Survivor Series. Definitely want to do 95 for Survivor Series, actually. Oof. Yeah, John, we can do Mania 9 next year. Eventually, we're going to have to get to it. We'll try to do a few WrestleManias in 2023 WrestleMania season. We might have to put 9 on the list just for fun. So we have not had a match that has meant dick so far. We had Jericho and Raven, right? Opening, and then Wrath and Meng, and now Douche Inferno and Jabroni-tude. Survivor Series 07? I don't know much about 07. 99? I didn't like 99. I'm trying to think. Did we watch? I think we've watched 98. Might have to watch. I mean, the Screwjob's anniversary is coming up. The Hurricane Rana. Hoovy Driver upcoming. Oh. I remember about a year before this in WWE when Honky Tonk Man was recruiting to be a manager of somebody, some new protege. And for a while, they were kind of hinting it was going to be Triple H. Honky was on commentary for one Raw when Triple H was losing and he was freaking out and all this stuff. And then he was going to debut this person at In Your House Revenge of the Taker. This person turned out to be Billy Gunn, Rockabilly. But prior to that, the word on the street and on the hotlines and stuff was that Disco Inferno had signed with WWE, and he was going to be Honky's protege. And I remember thinking that would probably be a good idea. I don't like his dumb ass, but he probably would have fit that pretty well. He already had that stupid hair, and put some sideburns on him and put him in one of those ridiculous Elvis jumpsuits. He could probably pull it off. Dance around, look like a moron, just like he does here in WCW, but this time he's got the Honky Tonk Man with him. And now he's Macarena-ing. But when it turned out to be Rockabilly, that was such a joke. I think Disco would have been the better choice. I think he would have pulled that gimmick off. It would have been terrible, don't get me wrong. That's nice. He tried to give him a Cesaro swing and then fell and crotched Hoovy by accident. Off Leather Wings. Appreciate 5 from you. I know it's not Backlash season, but next year you got to watch Backlash 2007. Okay, what the hell was that? That would have been after WrestleMania 23, so would it have been like Shawn and Cena again or something? Or what the hell? And Taker just won the title. I don't even know a single match on that card. I wouldn't even be able to tell you. Backlash 07. Would they have done a Shawn and Cena rematch? Something tells me they might have. You might have gotten a Batista Taker rematch as well, right? Maybe Lashley and Umaga did something because they worked Mania. What else am I missing? Did Edge work with anybody? What did Kennedy do? Kennedy. Oh. Okay, Cena, HBK, Randy Orton, Edge, Fatal 4-Way, Batista, Taker, Last Man Standing. That's probably pretty good. Oh, God, Vince and Bobby for the ECW title. I prefer the older shows, but you know what? It's not about me. It's about y'all. So that's what y'all want. We'll do it. 2007 is not too new. I mean, that one's workable. I kind of have an internal rule. I'll probably never do anything past 2010. Just no interest in rewatching any of that. Wow. Big pile driver there. Actually pretty well done. And he's going to win. I was about to say, I would hope that you would win with a move like that. I mean, he leapt. He jumped in the air and came down on that. That's not a move Hoovy should be kicking out of. So that's actually the right thing to do. Why can't we dub Disco's music with something else? Yeah, Survivor Series 87, 88, or 89. I'd be into all of them. I've reviewed all of them on the channel. You know what? Canadian Stampede Juliet would probably be a good candidate for the members only watch along. Because I want to do those 2-hour shows, and I want to keep the ones we do here for the public to be 3 or more. Spaz! Family for 3 freaking months. You've been family for longer than that, but on paper, you've been family now for 3 months, man. I appreciate that. Welcome. I always loved Bobby with the recap. And there's your winner. Inferno El de Disco. And so that's another production trick that WWE's never done. So Disco won, and they're showing replays of his entrance because everything he did in the ring sucked. But WWE never would do that, ever. They wouldn't show a slow-mo replay of the winner's entrance after the match. It's interesting. I guess I wouldn't call that a production trick. That would be a production. Oh, they're all in cowboy hats and blazers. Yeah, during this time, I was almost like, I almost couldn't handle the hotness of Kimberly. Like, to me, I was like, it's not fair. Somebody shouldn't be that hot. I was like, how is she with Dallas Page? That's crazy. He's gross. Juliet, I got to double check this. I'm pretty sure we did it. I'm pretty sure we did Survivor Series last year. I got to go through I'd have to look at the playlist. Yep. All right, Nitro Girls just did their thing, and we've got some NWO coming out. Didn't I do Survivor Series? Don't I have a memory of, like, using Vince and Shane hugging Rock as the thumbnail, or was that for a review? Shit, maybe we didn't do Survivor Series 98. Maybe we didn't. We did 96. We did 2002. Yeah, we might have to do Deadly Game. I thought we did Deadly Game. Must be a review I'm thinking of. Well, cool. Oh, my God, Steiner. And one in the box. He's in town and he's ready to pound. Okay. I am right about this. Here comes Big Show. Tag team titles. Okay, I knew I had that right. I'm like, why do I remember Steiner wrestling some match on his own or some shit? So that must be what Buff does. He probably screws him and leaves, and then the Gremlin just beats both of these fools by himself. Now, who's the champ? Who are the tag champs? And here's JJ. So they are the tag champs, Steiner and Big Show? Or Steiner and Giant? God, you and you... We're the NWO and you're not. I'm like, and? What? What? Okay. So it's already supposed to be Rick versus Scott. Then Buff comes out earlier with Rick and says, I have your back or something. And Rick's like, okay, that's totally believable. Shake my hand. Yay. And now JJ's agreeing to this nonsense. If somehow you manage to lose the titles tonight. So then it's already supposed to be Rick and Scott. And then Buff comes out and shows alliance to Scott. Or I'm sorry, to Rick. No, it's supposed to be Rick and Scott one-on-one. And now they have changed it. Scott has changed it to a tag team match. He's going to team up with Big Show to face Rick and Buff. They'll put the tag titles on the line. Then JJ comes out to say, okay, but if you somehow lose the tag team titles, then you just have to be in the match that was originally scheduled for tonight. Why just not? Why didn't JJ just come out and say, no, the match is happening as planned? WCW, man. Eric Bischoff, that little shit, has the gall to sit back and criticize booking in AEW. Look at this nonsense. The fuck is he talking about? None of that makes any sense at all. That whole scenario is just rubbish. Oh, here comes Alex, right? Speak of the devil. Wasn't somebody just asking about him? Okay, so Giant and Scott Hall are the champs. Belts defended under NWO rules where any members can defend at any time. Okay. I don't even remember that. I kind of remember the NWO rules, but I didn't know they could just move the titles around. And Scott has got a match later tonight, right? Against Nash, I thought. Or maybe that, yeah, Nash. Oh, there's the nice. There's 2 dancing matches in a row. This really does feel like a Nitro. Every one of these matches. I can't believe how many matches they put on this pay-per-view. They could have gotten rid of this shit and the Disco and Hoovy match, or the Ming and Wrath match, and they would have had plenty of time for Goldberg and DDP. Ridiculous. Oh, your super chat disappeared? No, it didn't. I see it. Maybe it disappeared for you. I do see it, though, Spaz. Sorry, I missed it a minute ago. Hey, Greg. Oh, and thank you for the $5. Hey, Greg, Cat, and chat. Cheap plug. The next episode of WWE Last Week goes up tomorrow at 10 a.m. Also, look out for Havoc review as part of this week's NXT. Yeah, go check out Spaz's channel for those reviews. I still have to dig a little bit deeper into Halloween Havoc from last night. All I did was read the quick results. Saw the video of Sean and Wesley hugging backstage, which was wholesome. That all looked fun. But other than that, I'm not totally sure how the show went overall. But yeah, I can see that super chat, Spaz. So if it disappeared for you, you must be in another universe, or maybe you're in the upside down. I'm currently on episode 6 of Stranger Things, season 1, or as I call it, weird, slimy vagina wall that eats you. I like it, but I'm not totally wrapped up in it yet. You know, it's a good show. I mean, I have no intention of stopping it, and I'm sure it'll get crazier. But I liked Orange is the New Black better so far. You know, I don't like too much fantasy or like goblins and monsters type of shit. Like it's just not my genre. I don't really watch that stuff. So maybe it's just harder for me to like really get into the lunacy of these storylines and what the hell's going on and what's happening, but everybody says it's great. So then when this is over, we'll probably start Breaking Bad. Yeah, Nick Patrick's out here with his ridiculous mullet. It's 1998, late 98. It's about to be 99. It's almost time for Frosted Tips and boy bands, or probably is already time for that. And he's out here in a mullet and a porn stash. Wearing sneakers. I guess I'd probably wear sneakers too. Oh, I guess Nick's got a goatee going on now. Nick Patrick looks like... Nick Patrick, you know what he looks like? He looks like the dead Diesel when Diesel was feuding with Undertaker in 96, right before he went to WCW. Prior to WrestleMania on Raw, there was like a coffin, and Diesel opened it up, and it was like a body double of him, or just somebody, and it looks like Nick Patrick. Now, we got Finlay and Alex Wright. I mean, this is an interesting match. Finlay, beloved to this day. Yeah, right, K-Dog's Kennel. Can we get one more match on this show? Can we squeeze some other bullshit in somewhere? I mean, every match has meant nothing. There's been no championship on the line yet. Well, unless Jericho's title was on the line. Jericho and Raven, you know, that's probably been the biggest match so far, but it didn't even mean anything because they said that it was thrown together at the last minute. They just threw it on the card. Like WCW, for Bischoff to sit there and complain about another company's lack of organization. Bitch, I don't understand why why he is such a critic of shit that he was like the biggest and worst defender of. It's just odd. That'd be like me coming on YouTube and just talking for 3 hours about how bald people suck. I'm like, bitch, look in the mirror. Oh, hard bump. Still 2-0. 2-0 Yankees. They got 2 men on. It doesn't show how many are out on this, so I can't see that. But they got first and second. 2-0 count. I don't know the football game. No, I don't have the football game on because I believe it's Dolphins Steelers, and who cares? I'm kidding. 13-3 looks like Steelers. 3-3 Dolphins. 2-4 Steelers. Oh, wow. Alex Wright just beat Finley. I'm sorry. It's 13-3 Dolphins, not 13-3 Steelers. Or as a girl would say, it's 3-13. I say that with love, but they all do that. It's 3-13. Look at him dancing. I mean, he's going on 4 years in the company. I mean, Alex Wright, 4 years prior to that, beat Triple H at a Starrcade in, I think, 94, right? Oh, it's Ernest Miller. Look at the Yeti. Check out the Yeti. I didn't even see that earlier. That's great. Who is he? Who is this imposter? I remember not knowing that Ernest Miller signed with WWE until I turned on SmackDown. I remember at the time, whatever channel SmackDown was on, I didn't get. Or I got it at an odd time. That's right. I didn't get it live at like replay. SmackDown would replay like on the local Fox channel on a random ass time because whatever channel Fox was on or SmackDown was on, I just didn't get for some reason. So it just aired at a weird time. And I never knew when it was coming on. And I just turn it on and SmackDown's on and I see him in the ring doing something. I'm like, well, when the fuck did he get there? Yankees putting more. Oh, yeah, I'm glad they cut him off. Yankees putting more up. One more up. 3-0. All right, who's coming out now? This music sounds terrible. Lodi. Lodi is from my old hometown. I know a lot of people who know Lodi. I used to live in Greenville, not South Carolina, Greenville, North Carolina. Home of East Carolina University, where Vince McMahon went to school. Stephanie went there as well, I believe, for a little bit. I spent a lot of time on the campus, sold concessions at the games, had enough credits to transfer over from the community college, but decided to no longer pursue college. Because college sucked. Who needs it? I can't believe Lodi is getting a fucking pay-per-view match. This is ridiculous. I guess I didn't, when I was just reading remember when I said I compared 94 and 98? I guess I was looking at the size. I'm like, oh, there's so many more wrestlers to talk about here. And now it's Lodi. It's Lodi and Saturn. Village person Saturn. Look at him. I don't know if either of these themes are original or not. Yeah, I was thinking it was UPN, but I didn't think they were on UPN. Like, I feel like Ernest was there in like maybe 03 or something. Do I have that right on the year? I felt like they would have been off UPN by then, but I could be wrong. But back then, I was moving around a lot. I had a lot of different apartments. I had a couple different roommates. I was young and living that life, so sometimes things would change. If sometimes I had satellite. You know, I remember a couple times we had satellite. Me and a roommate just decided to not get cable, and we got DirecTV hookup or something like that. And then I had access to all sorts of shit. But Other times I just had to rely on the local cable there. And for the longest time, I didn't get SmackDown. I had to find other ways to keep track. This is crazy. We do not need Lodi and Saturn. Bring back my signs. Yeah, the town that Lodi lives in, where I used to live in Greenville, apparently that's the home of Mr. Beast, the YouTuber. I know little about him, but the little bit I've seen of him, he's always like giving away money and shit. Seems like a super great guy. And that's where he's from, and he stayed there. He still lives there and still does shit there. And I just think that's awesome. You know, like I couldn't wait to get the hell out of that town. You know, the minute I had to, started getting jobs, or I knew I had the ability to move, or, go make money somewhere else, I was gone the minute I was able to escape that place. But I still have a love for it. But man, if I had millions and millions of dollars, that's like the last place I'd be. So I have a lot of respect for that. He gets cool points for that, for just staying there when he's got enough money to live anywhere he wants. And he's living in a place where people take their wives for their 20th anniversary to Outback Steakhouse. I'm like, bro, move to the water, move somewhere awesome. But he lives there. He's from there. He does great things there. And it's good for the town. I'm glad that he's there. Lodi likes Texas. Oh, it might have been CW, My Network TV. It might have been one of those Dreadhead Dre. I'm just going to call you Dre. That's another thing I used to love Bobby Heenan would do. Mike Tenay would just roll off some brilliant shit, right? And Bobby Heenan would go, I was just about to say that. Oh, God, I miss Bobby so much. Miss him. They're his signs. I mean, he has 9,000 signs. My holds, my signs. With the talent in that WCW locker room, I just don't understand why Lodi's getting a match on this pay-per-view, you know? Is Brett on this card? He probably is. What the hell's Brett doing? Oh, I think I know what he's doing. I think he's facing Sting. I think. Every one of these matches has just been, when are we going to get to the meat, man? You got to balance it out. You need to have one of your bigger matches in between a lot of these. You know what? And to come to think of it, when I would watch WCW, is that the Saturn driver there or whatever? And that's it. Finally, Lodi's done. Yeah, it's Brett versus Sting, because I remember the finish in that too. It's starting to come back to me now. But I don't know what I was about to say. Like, I don't understand why. I remember what I was about to say with these matches, the amount of matches. When I would watch Nitro or any WCW program, I guess they were more likely to do it on Saturday night or maybe WCW Pro or something, but I don't recall any moments on Nitro where they would run through the pay-per-view card. Here's what you're going to see Sunday and show match graphics for everything, you know? I don't recall them doing that. They'd probably tell you what you were going to see, but I don't remember seeing too many graphics prior to that or any sort of card rundowns. Which is weird, but they didn't really need to do that. They just need to sell the pay-per-view on their couple of big matches, and that's all you really needed to promote, and then they just loaded up the rest of the card. All willy-nilly. Yeah, Brett and Sting should have been so much bigger. Brett and anybody in WCW should have been so much bigger. I love that Bobby's like, I'm not going to dress like you two idiots. I'm going to wear orange because it's Halloween. So I think it's just a big night for Rick, if I'm not mistaken. I want to say he wins both. I think he wins the tag team titles and he beats Scott after. Maybe not, though. My question is, who becomes his partner? All right, that's last week. Buff taking the chair away from Steiner. When he went after Scotty, who ducked, so this is all a ploy. Buff, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, he's living with DDP, I think, right now, trying to get his shit straight. He's been a strange figure in the last couple years. He had that Twitter account that everybody questioned whether or not it was him, and he's like, no, it's me, and then it turned out not to be him, and I don't know. He's taking the shirt off of the NWO. We talked about that last week. Or we talked about that on the Dynamite watch-along. Takes in between matches, just a close-up of the lights. AEW does that. And I mentioned that on Tuesday when we were watching the show. I'm like, I love that technique because WCW used to do that. You'll never see that in WWE. That's just not a transition that they use. And I like that AEW brings that aspect. And I mentioned that WCW did it, and we just saw it right there. It's little things that touch my inner child. Hello, Kimberly. 21-year-old Greg was a big fan. Big fan. What music is this? Not again. No. What happened? Oh. Okay. I didn't realize. We have to hear this, so we have to see him 2 times. I didn't know there was a stip in Disco. I thought my Peacock fucked up. I'm like, did we go back to the Disco Inferno Hoovy match? Okay, so that's what we were also talking over the Kidman interview, so that must have been what this was about. So he's got to face Kidman for the Cruiserweight. Oh, is he going to win it too? God damn. I'm like, no. Well, if I have to look at this fool's face again, I have to go get a second Stella. I'll be right back. Okay. All right, Kidman, please win, even though I have a feeling you might not. Double duty Inferno. I'm like, what is going on? I legitimately thought we might have rewound back somehow. I'm like, well, this is going to be a bitch to fix. But nope, we're good. We are still an hour and 14 minutes in. We've had 5 or 6 completely meaningless matches. We finally have one for the Cruiserweight title now. But Finlay and Alex Wright and Wrath and Ming and some of these other matches they're doing, no wonder they screwed up at the end. They overbooked the ball sacks out of this. Yeah, I remember at the time thinking that Kidman was showing a lot of improvement. Because he was like, when he was younger looking, before he started wearing the wife beater and the jorts, and he was kind of rare in regular gear, and he was still pretty young. He reminded me of their version of the 1-2-3 Kid, because he just looked really, really young. But just like 1-2-3 Kid, just like X-Pac or Six, you know, once he branched out and changed his look up a little bit, he kind of filled out a little bit more, kind of resembled more of a man than a boy. And Kidman did the same exact thing. He had the same exact transition to me that X-Pac did. And that's when I started to really like him. A lot of wrestlers just really improve their look when they get older. Like, look at Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre looked like a child when he came in 2009 when he was the chosen one. Now he looks like a fucking stud, you know? One day, and when Sammy Guevara puts another 10 years on his body or whatever, you know, he might stop. He might not look like a 16-year-old high school student anymore. Nice nip up by Kidman. Series of them. Like, if Kidman winds up retaining here, like, what's the logic behind even doing this? Just loading up your card with shit. Why couldn't you do the Hoovy and Disco match on TV and then just do the Cruiserweight match here? Why did both of these have to be on the pay-per-view? Like, nobody was like, when they were like doing a pre-show rundown or something, nobody was like, yo, do we have time for this? Three-run homer by Astros. Tie game now? Oh, shit. If that's the thing, like, yes, it's happened a few times in history now. For the longest time, it didn't happen. But now it's happened a couple times. There have been 3-0 comebacks, but, man, it's so stupidly rare. Why play 3 more games if the outcome is just going to be the Astros going to the World Series anyway? I don't need to sit through all that. So in my mind, just let the Astros wrap it up here and be done with it. But I suppose if my team was down 0-3, I wouldn't be saying that. But just as a spectator, I'm like, just wrap it up now. Feel like it's going to be Astros and Phillies anyway. It's still weird for me to think of the Astros as an American League team. My mind has always thought of them as a National League team, even though I think they've been in the American League now for quite a while. It feels like. I just think the term wife beater is a crazy name for a shirt. Like, have you ever just thought about how just crazy that is, that a shirt is called that? I'm like, who? That's wild, man. I was like, I'm not exactly ready to throw that one on the canceled pile yet. I'm sure we'll get there. Probably already is, but I'm not really too offended by that one. I guess I don't wear them, so I don't have to worry about being mistaken for one. What I don't like is that I did read through this card, or I didn't really read through it. I just kind of glanced at the two side by side. I'm like, oh, yeah, we got to do 98. Because I don't like to know too much going into these, because it's been so many years since I've seen these shows. I probably only remember about half of what happens. So I like kind of going into it not knowing what we're going to see and stuff. So I didn't really look at the card closely. And if I would have seen Disco Inferno wrestling twice. And I would have changed my mind and watched December to Dismember instead. Just call it a tank top and be done with it. I'll tell you this. Women look way better in wife beaters than men do. Put any one of those Nitro girls in Billy Kidman's shirt. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Told you. Oh, nice. A good clothesline by Kidman. I remember at the time, Billy Silverman, the referee here, he was WCW's Mike Chioda. That's what I always thought. Because back in those days, standard definition, depending on what kind of TV you were watching, not everybody had 60 inches of TV on their wall. Nobody did. If you did have 60 inches, you didn't. You had 50, and it was on wheels, and the shit rolled around. You couldn't see shit in detail. So from afar, Silverman and Mike Chioda did resemble each other a little bit. Yeah, Kidman and Tori Wilson worked together. I don't recall when they got together. I think Tori was in... She was here by then. But I don't know if they were together yet. Damn Yankees. Damn Yankees. Gonna go down in your own... Oh, and they are putting more people on base. Peralta with a double. Astros are... Man, that's one thing I just wouldn't want to do. I wouldn't want to troll to that degree to, like, go into a rowdy, raucous stadium as the opposing fan wearing the opposing team's shit. Just because there's so many assholes around, you know, that somebody could just come up to you without you even noticing it and just smash you in the head with a beer bottle or something for no reason, you know. I'm like, I wouldn't even trust it. Oh, do I have to see the booty shake? No, Kidman and Tori are long since not together. That's been over for a long time, as far as I know. Tori's had many boyfriends since. I think Tori dated Alex Rodriguez for a while, didn't she? No kidding, Yachiro. They call these wife beaters in England? That's crazy. So, yeah, this is considered pretty cheap, trashy trash beer, right? Yeah. Sorry. I'm not drinking it because it's fancy. I'm drinking it because it's casual. Ugh. Another pile driver. That beat Hoovy. He can't cover Kidman, though. Yeah, that's right. He was. He was in WWE. Billy Silverman. I was even trying to think of that, like referees that jump ship, because there haven't been a ton. And he is one of them. And I remember that I don't remember that being reported anywhere. I just remember seeing him on WCW. I'm like, oh, he's there now. Yeah, I'd totally forgotten about that. Maybe WWE didn't want two Mike Chiodas. Hey, he's like, we already have one of you. Oh, hard shot. Hit right back at the pitcher, and he can't make the play. Yankees are first and third. Fans look concerned. Oh, shooting star. Come on, please beat him. Oh, thank God he's going to win. Phew. Thank you, WCW. Two Disco Inferno matches was necessary. Yes, absolutely. In 1998, of course. Why wouldn't you have two of them? Damn, bad break for the Yankees there. Mike, I wonder if Greg liked the band Damn Yankees back in the day. You can't get me high enough to like them. Okay, maybe you can. I always get Damn Yankees confused with, shit, now I can't think of it. Two twins with long blonde hair. Two of them, they look the same. They had like one hit. I'll think of it in a minute. It's on the tip of my ass. Nelson. I'm pretty sure it's Nelson. Right? Nelson? Kids, you should Google Nelson and just look at the photos. Just do it. You'll laugh your ass off. All right, this must be... Okay, this is the tag. I was like, it's NWO music, so this is going to be the tag team title match. Scott, Steiner, and Giant defending against Rick and Buff, but I think Buff is up to shenanigans. Dre, I agree. It's easier to sit through a lot of these BS matches if you're just sipping on a cold one. I've never been much of a huge drinker, but I'm even less of a drinker now. Like back in the day, I would just drink socially, but when I would have my fun, you know, I got no problem having some drinks with friends and going out and birthdays and bashes and all that. I can put it down, but nowadays, I ain't trying to be hungover. I hate it. So no point in it. Take me on a vacation. I go see my friends back east. I go to Hawaii or something, sure. The beer will flow like wine in warm places like Aspen. But in my regular life, I'm pretty casual now. Oh, they took the lead. 4-3 Houston. And there's first and third still. I still can't tell how many fucking outs there is. Big Show is smoking. He's smoking a Camel. Big Papa Pump rules aloft all of wrestling. Aloft. Big Papa Pump rules aloft wrestling. See the light shots. Oh, I like that smoke comes out of the skull's nostrils. Oh, Buff. God, there's so much dancing. We've had 2 disco matches. Alex Wright. Buff is out here doing that, whatever that is. Wait, so what is this again? Okay, I was about to say, Buff is supposed to wrestle at the side of Rick, right? Oh, they're going to do the Steiner thing? That's weird. Judge Judy. Now, Big Show was a smoker, I think, in real life. It's just crazy to see him out there smoking a fucking cigarette. I don't want to sound like any of your dads, okay? Because I know I'm probably not one to talk. But if you smoke cigarettes, please stop. They're so fucking terrible for you. Find something else to be addicted to, please. You know, eat edibles, you know. Smoke the green gimmick, but stay away from them cancer sticks. Please. I want to keep you guys around as listeners. And I know I'd rather have alive listeners than dead listeners. So don't smoke. I'm proud to say I never have. I've always thought it was nasty. I didn't like when WCW changed the tag belts. I like the old ones. The old ones look good. These things were like little. They look tiny around Big Show or around Giant. Big Show probably ain't a Newport's kind of guy. No, probably not. Bride of Chucky. I only saw the first Child's Play. Never saw another one. I haven't smoked. Newt Gur have I. That's good. Newt Gur have I either. Hopefully Newt Gur of you guys have either. You shouldn't. I was trying to see what that word was. I was like, I thought it was yogurt, but it was Newt Gert. Newt Gert have I. Yeah, I know. Now there's like a Chucky series. Yeah, I suck. I'm the worst guy to like talk about movies and shit with because I don't like horror movies either. I don't like slimy vagina walls that eat you like on Stranger Things and spooky underneath the worlds and bloody nose girls and stuff. But I also am not a giant fan of horror movies. Like I never saw any of the Halloweens. Oh. Here comes Buff. Did Lodi leave one of his signs? Oh, no, that was one that was taken. Yeah, I have a lot of smoking in my family, too. One of my sister smokes. My dad smoked and, ultimately contributed to taking his life. My grandfather, his dad, died of emphysema, and it's been all over my family. It's just I guess whatever gene that was that made you like it skipped me. But I mean, everybody, obviously when I was a kid, I've tried it. Everybody's tried it, and I was like, ugh. No, thank you. Oh, my God. Come on, Rick. Dog face. Finally, we got a match here with some steaks. Pork chops, chicken, whatever you want. I don't know what Hogan's coming out to tonight. He came out to the regular NWO music in that promo with Bischoff earlier, so I don't know what he's got planned for later. Don't know. That guy in the purple headgear looks like Braun Breaker from NXT. He does a little bit, I suppose. Maybe. I don't think they could be like father and son or anything. Don't be stupid. Maybe a little resemblance, though. I don't even know if Braun Breaker is related to anybody. I just think he's just a good-looking, crazy guy who's really good at math that impressed in the tryouts, and they signed him. Took a chance on a kid who came from nothing, He didn't even know wrestling existed until 5 years ago. And now he's in NXT as the champion, and he's doing great things. So anything can happen in this world. Even a complete bum off the street like Braun Breaker with no pro wrestling ties whatsoever can come in and make a name for himself. It's a great business. Whoever his parents are, I hope they're proud of him. Scott with a pie face to Little Nate. That is uncalled for. Big Papa piece of shit. Announcers are pissed at Buff. He fucking came in here and talked to us. Heart to heart. Well, we knew that was coming. And now Rick is just going to get crushed. 552, they're saying he is? He is not. He is not 552. Well, maybe he is. Holy shit. What did Giant realistically weigh in 98? 550? He did not weigh more than Andre. Oh, they're going to just toy with Rick? How old do you think the current NXT champion was at this time? 1? Was he 1 or 2? Holy shit. That's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Ooh, watch out, Lil Nate. I do remember liking this. This is one of my favorite like Steiner moments from this time period. Like I loved old school WCW Steiners, but by the time they split and went separately, this is a really, really good performance by Rick. Oh my God, look at this. Top rope. I love when Show would go to the top rope, or Giant would. God, look at this. He doesn't know what he's doing. He doesn't know what he's doing. There you go. Wow, and he missile drop kicks Scott, who's selling it like $1 million in the corner. Like The Rock taking the stunner. Holy shit. Missile drop kick from the Giant, who struggled to get his footing up there. Winds up hitting Papa Pump instead. Now Rick is making his comeback. Bulldog coming from the top. Top rope Bulldog. That looked great. And he got him with the Bulldog. Yeah, I mean, I think at this time, I remember thinking Big Show was on his way to WWE. He was starting to lose. I felt like it was possible, and he'd be there 3 months later or whatever it was. 4 months, maybe. That was too fast. Scott, why are you being such a little puss? Get in the ring. I thought you were Big Papa Pump. I thought you were all big and bad. You're scared? You're scared? Why are you scared? Here, I was about to say, is JJ going to come out? Nope, Rick's just going to go out there and get him. Look at the Giant trying to come after. This is such a cluster. Now we're going to get the match that apparently was booked from the start. Rick Steiner is now the tag team champions. We don't know who he's going to be champions with. Who knows that? What do they do? Kick him in the mouth. Listen to Shivani. I love it. Do it again. This is a very angry brother. Our Yankees look to have a man on third here. The little Fox graphic does not show the outs unless every time I look at it, the player's name is in the way. Or no, I'm sorry, it does show the outs. There's 2 outs. Okay. It's the little dots. I'm stupid. Oh, low blow to Rick. Come on. Tie it up with a single here. Oof. Amazes me how little time Rick Steiner actually spent in WWE. He was just there. I mean, like Scott came back in like 02, but Robbie, he was only there during the Steiner's run, like a year and a half, 2 years, whatever it was. It wasn't long at all. I thought they were great in WWE. I love their look. I love their theme music. And I thought they were a fun team. I was happy to see them there. They reminded me of a credible team like the Bulldogs from back in the day. Oh. Scott was pretty athletic and doing some stuff. I had never seen like a Frankensteiner before. I thought that was incredible. I was like, holy shit. What's going on here? Who's this guy? Bill Clinton, who was the president at this time. It's President Clinton with Stevie Ray. What is happening? Who is under the Bill Clinton mask? I forgot. Was it Buff again? Oh, my God. Oh, my God. And it's Buff again. He brains Charles Robinson. That was a crazy shot. Is Charles Robinson dead? Oh, my God. And he kicked out. I was about to say, I think. I love that Buff stopped the count, though. What'd you hit the referee for? If he was just going to count, if you were going to have a fair count, why did you attack the referee? Buff is stupid. Like, why would you even hit the referee? Oh God. Oh. Charles Robinson looks like he's legitimately unconscious. His face is bouncing. That's pure abuse to Charles Robinson. I guess you have to knock him out, otherwise he would call it a DQ. But and now they've not only have they done the turn in this match, Buff has gone all the way to the back, changed clothes, came back in, and Rick's going to get his revenge on him all in the same match. And don't tell me that Little Nate, okay, Nick Patrick, I was about to say, there's no way Little Nate is going to come too. And Nick Patrick doing a babyface move. Flying in, counting the 3, Steiner, Rick wins. So much going on there. That reminds me of when I have to go to the bank. Because where I have the bank, if I ever have to go to the bank, very rarely, if I have to go to the ATM or anything like that, it's right here. It's like within arm's reach, just a few hundred yards away. But I can't get home. If I go there, I can't get home without going through like 4 lights to turn around and come back. And I'm like, I'm going the long way, all the way around, all this shit, just to get somewhere that's within arm's reach. And I feel like that's what they did in this match. Like the whole thing was, they did a lot of extra there that some of it wasn't necessary. Half of it wasn't necessary. You could have still gotten the brother story told. The only way I can get home earlier from the bank is if I make an illegal U-turn, which I have done out of pure frustration, because I'm like, I'm not going to take 13 minutes to drive 100 yards. Oh. I didn't love that they couldn't resist the urge to break them up. I mean, it was less than 2 years, or about 2 years, I guess. But I feel like all of this, like, alcohol part of it, because a lot of people will talk about how the distasteful side of it because of Scott's real life problems, and that's all true. But on top of that, you already have such a story with these two. Adding like that extra layer to it is totally unnecessary. These guys have a shit ton of history from WWE. You know, they were feuding then for the Intercontinental title and came into WCW together as the outsiders, and all of that was all you needed. I thought fans would be intrigued by a Scott Hall and Kevin Nash match in WCW when inevitably these two guys would go their separate ways or split or whatever. But I just think circumstances, where Scott Hall was in his life, some of the unnecessary stuff they were doing in this angle, maybe made it a little bit less memorable. But when I think of Hogan and Warriors match at WrestleMania 6, and I think of Diesel and Razor's match at SummerSlam 94, both of those matches I think are better than what we're going to get here. Now, what is this supposed to be? Just straight vodka? That's crazy. Yeah, this is during the era where you would hear the NWO theme, no shit, 10 times a night. Yeah, and then they split the NWO up in the Wolf Pack. Wolf Pack. So what's the match that I'm thinking of? I thought it was this match, but I guess it's not because Nash looks fine. They do another match, I swear, where Nash comes out pretending to be drunk, doesn't he? Where he comes out stumbling and he's got a drink and then he reveals that he's fine and he attacks, I thought, Scott Hall. Well, I don't know what moment that is that I'm thinking of, but that's kind of what I thought this was. Oh. All right, here we go. Hall and Nash. Look at them. Guys can still work back then. Nash is selling. Scott Hall with his great punches. Well, you know, Starrcade, it would be Nash and Goldberg. And Hall would help him. So I don't know what, Matt. What do they do in November? Oh, top of the head. Oh, thanks, Jimmy. Thanks for being here. Got to work in the morning. I understand. Sunday night, people got stuff to do on Mondays. I get it. Yeah, they do World War III in November, but were they doing World War IIIs in 98? I think those were done by then. What the hell were they doing in 98 in November? What pay-per-view? What's the tall cameraman gentleman with the bald head back there? Does anybody know his name? I've seen him in WWE events too. I never know him. I know who George is, but I don't recall who that guy is. Okay, so they did do a World War III in November. They did a 3-man ring in 98. Why don't I remember this? Hey, yo, take your vest off, Scott. Yeah, he's not in the best of shape here either. Nash is hurt bad. Damn, he's bleeding.
Hey, Big Sexy. Look at you now.
Yeah.
Huh? Hey, Kev. That burn your eyes there, big fella? How's the world look, Kev? Through foggy eyes.
He's got foggy eyes already.
Back to the locker room, because I'm through listening to you.
Who won the Battle Royal then in World War III 98? We should watch a World War III next month. I don't have much World War III knowledge. We should watch one of those. Oh, my. Nash getting worked. AWA ran a 3-ring event once, I think. If I remember right. I can't remember. I think they did. I know there's a video clip. I've definitely seen a wide shot of 3 rings. I feel like that's like a Midwestern thing. Oh, I thought they were saying bull crap. Wolf pack. I'm like, why are they saying that? Oh, okay. Nash won World War III. Okay, I was thinking the Scott Hall match I'm thinking of, you said, happened at World War III. Okay, so Nash won the Battle Royal. That's interesting. Look at the hair fly. Yeah, Nash won. Greg Gagne was on Busted Open last week. Oh, maybe he was. Maybe he's promoting territories because those have been pretty good. Sidewalk. Here's the big sexy comeback. Nash got busted open in the mouth there. I didn't notice that. Oh, you caught WCW at the end? Their worst time. WCW wasn't great, when they first transitioned to the initials WCW in like 89 or whatever it was, but they still had very memorable events and memorable years, even though they were, WWE's redheaded stepchild. they still had great pay-per-views, great talent there. They were just a little bit more minor league-ish, but then they stepped it up. I mean, even when WCW wasn't considered a strong competitor to WWE, I still have fond memories of watching them at 605, especially in the summer. I watched a lot of WCW in the summer when I was off from school, and have a lot of fond memories of my dad, like barbecuing chicken out back on the deck. Me in the living room just sitting on the floor watching WCW. Okay, well, that's great, Mike Witt. I'm glad you keep tabs on Greg Gagne's life. I don't dislike Greg Gagne, but I care very little about him. I did enjoy that AEWA panel, though, on territories. Ken Patera, man. The mothership. I miss the mothership. We had a neighborhood community pool, big, huge subdivision. A lot of kids from the high school, from school, lived in the neighborhood, and we'd all be hanging out at the pool most days. So, I would get up 10 a.m., 11 a.m. We'd cruise down to the pool, hang out there all day, and then I'd head home for some barbecue chicken and some WCW on TBS. Summers were awesome. Oh, man, he is just paintbrushing the back of Nash's head. Nash is busted open hard. It's almost time, y'all. We're almost 2 hours in here, which means we're going to be getting Hogan and Warrior very soon, and we haven't even prepared ourselves yet. Still 4-3 Houston. Yankees got a man on first, one out. And Judge might have just jacked one to center field. Oh, caught on the warning track. Oh, no. Very close to taking the lead there for the Yankees. Wow. Wow. That probably, I have it on mute, but I bet you Yankee Stadium erupted when he hit that.
Here, would you guys agree with that? That's not important either. Then. No, there's a lot of fighting going on.
Jeez, Greg. Greg Gagne. I think I just, there can only be one Greg in this world. No, I'm kidding. I think the only thing that gives me that opinion is I don't love Greg Gagne in interviews. I mean, I don't really even blame him for any sort of bad feelings, but he has a right to have some, but I wouldn't say he's Bret Hart level of bitter, but it's definitely there. And I think he embellishes a lot. He embellishes a lot with his dad. Vern was a tough SOB, man, but he was a tough SOB without the embellishment. And sometimes I think Gagne has unnecessary stories of his dad that I'm like, Vern was just badass no matter which way you slice it, I personally believe, and this is just a very basic opinion, so anybody with true grappling, fighting knowledge can tell me if I'm right or wrong here, as the Yankees just tied it up. I think Stu Hart could beat the shit out of Vern Gagne in a shoot. I do. But maybe I'm biased because it's Stu. But if anybody wrestled in high school or anything, let me know if you think that's accurate. If you have any knowledge of Stu or Vern, I think Stu would beat the fuck out of Vern. But I could be wrong. Maybe Vern would win. The only thing with Vern, though, is I think he did come close to maybe being an Olympian. I think. I don't think Stu did. Oh, Nash drinking. Chris, appreciate the $5, dude. What's up, Greg? Can you believe Triple H didn't use my Havoc idea to have Omos and Strowman dress up as mummies and come out and double hump Braun Breaker? They should have done that, and it would have been cool if they did. I would have marked out for it. Or at least somebody coming out and doing the Yeti hump. Somebody has to. All right, Yankees have tied this game, breathing some life into a terrified Yankee Stadium. And we got 2 outs. We still got a man on first. Big boot to Hall. He's down. Oh, we got a grounder to short and out. They're out of the inning, but it's tied now. Damn. Got to power bomb him again. Jackknife him again. I think I'll have a double. Here we go. Wow, he got Hall up. Now Hall's busted out. They both got bloody mouths. Was that a receipt between friends? Jesus. By the way, anybody who hasn't smashed that thumbs up button, if you don't mind doing it, it would be much appreciated. That's right, he walks away. Did anybody help me with that question I had? What is the memory I'm having of Nash coming out pretending to be drunk and then he's not? Must have just been on Nitro or something. That's what I think. Maybe it wasn't a match. It was a Nitro. And Nash came out all drunk and Hall was excited about it. And Nash just revealed it was a joke and beat the shit out of Hall. It's probably just in the build to this. Oh, Pete Davidson, how you doing? I recently learned something specific about your anatomy lately. Who would have thought? Just 2 less inches than me. Crazy. The weird things you learn. You all right, Hall? Chico is wobbly. Yeah, it was on a Nitro. It had to have been. For some reason, I thought it was in this match. But it was a Nitro segment. Oh, yeah, we got Brett Sting. We still got Brett Sting, Hogan Warrior, and DDP Goldberg. Wow. 3 huge matches left. And technically, in satellite time, they probably only have about 40 minutes left for these 3 matches. Backstage, they weren't panicking about any of this. They didn't think any of this was troublesome, problematic. Well, I don't know what they're wearing now, but I'm okay with it. Now, I think Sean must have just met her, maybe not quite yet. I don't think Sean had met Rebecca yet, but he was close to. Maybe like, shit, maybe he was. I bet you it was around this time. Where one Nitro girl would save the life of a WWE icon who is here today passing along his knowledge to the next generation, largely in part of that Nitro girl. So I guess we owe her a thank you for that. Brett's music, man. It's another thing I hated when he left. I'm like, we don't get to hear Brett's music anymore? Oh my God, the Sharpshooter is so much better than the Scorpion. I mean, I guess she was part of it. I mean, Sean still had his problems after they were together. He was still on drugs even after his first child was born. But I still think just that relationship and the family aspect really helped Sean. Plus his, his religious stuff definitely helped too. Brought him out of it. Bret. Gosh, it's so weird seeing him there. I can't believe I'm watching a Bret Hart match. He's United States champion. That's great and everything, but God, he had been there almost a year at this point. About 10 months Bret had been in the company. United States champion Bret Hart. So weird. Now, Sting, this is another thing I thought that was so stupid and ludicrous about WCW is that they had Sting join the NWO after what had to have been like something like 18 months or longer, solid year plus of him not wrestling because he was scorned and offended that fans thought he joined the NWO, so angry that fans thought that a person dressed exactly like him, was so angry that fans just made a common, simple mistake that a lot of people probably did. When you see somebody that looks like you assume it's you. And that was so offensive to him, he just decided to stay away from the ring and hang out in the roof, in the ceiling, for God knows how many damn months, only to come out of it, have a feud with Hogan, and within a year, maybe a little bit over a year, he joined the NWO. He joined the very faction that everybody thought he joined from the beginning that pissed him off. Just weird logic. I'm like, he should be like the last guy to join. His whole entire new gimmick was based on that betrayal. And so it was weird to see him in the NWO and now in the Wolfpack, and he's coming out to the hip-hop music and shit. I'm like, you were Mr. Silent Man for Mr. Crow Man in the rafters for all this time, dark and mysterious, and now you're Mr. Hip-Hop guy? What the F, man? I think that's why, when Bischoff gets a bug up his ass, especially when it comes to AEW, because he clearly has an issue with them. Whenever he criticizes things they do, I'm like, None of that's worse than anything you ever did. And a lot of your booking philosophies and ideas and storylines back in these days made no sense whatsoever. At all. And he's going to pass judgment? F off. I would have loved to enter that alternate universe where Sting is the third man just to see what that looks like. I don't think it would be more successful than Hogan. Hogan was the one you would want first. Sting would be your second choice. But it would still be interesting to see what that would look like. And Sting would make maybe more sense in storyline considering he's been WCW for life. In terms for shock value. Hogan makes more sense in storyline because he came from where Hall and Nash did. But Sting making that leap would have had the bigger, I think, dagger in WCW. Because Hogan didn't really stick that much of a dagger in WCW. He was only there 2 years when he did that to them. Sting had a much longer history and legacy in the company. So I think that one would have been hard for fans. Harder, I think, for some fans to swallow. Brett Stalling. Come on, Brett. I like Sting, but Brett's a much better worker than Sting. Always has been. Brett's just better than Sting. But this match in 95 would have been so much bigger of a deal 3 years prior to this. If you could have gotten that match, I think, in WWE, you have Sting come in and maybe May of 95 and you book Brett and Sting at SummerSlam instead of Brett and Isaac fucking Yankem. It's Brett and Sting. Oh, my God. Or if you can just... That wouldn't be able to realistically happen because Sting had no interest to go to WWE and he was locked into WCW. But if you could make that match happen, I think in a WWE 90s SummerSlam ring is where that match would be at its absolute best. Not in a 1998 Halloween Havoc ring. Who's at the plate? Lasagna? All right.
Sting needs to do this. He needs not only to win tonight, but he needs to show Bret Hart up is what he needs to do. And that would be an ultimate payback as far as Hart is concerned. A man who's always prided himself.
This match should have been the main event of one of their pay-per-views, you know? Just the fact that we're getting Sting and Bret Hart, to me, is surreal. It was a dream match or a what-if match that would always be talked about prior to Bret going to WCW. So then when he was there, and it's just, I mean, yes, it's for the U.S. title and everything, but it just doesn't feel like it's getting the attention that it would at a different time or a different place. And then having Bret and Hogan align in WCW was also weird. Bret was coming out wearing the Hogan shirt. I mean, I was disgusted as a fan. I was like, you got to be kidding me. What are they doing to Bret? Put him back in WWE and the Hart Foundation. It was like a bad dream. I'm like, this is like my worst nightmare come true. Ooh, right before the turn of the millennium. Tony Schiavone's getting excited for the year 2000 coming up in 2 years. Or I guess a year and a half. In the year 2000. Oh, hello, buddy. We've got a walking in Bub. I got to make some room for him because I got stuff in the way. Remote control.
Sharpshooter. There is no question that is the move that Bret Hart wants to win this match with.
Bret's got Sting down.
Like two as well. Elbow found its mark. That was on the jaw. Bret Hart makes a cover once again. There's really no combination, penny combination here. It's just lateral pressure.
Yeah, Tatanani, we're going to do that soon. I got to decide on which one we're going to do. I should have said that earlier on. Next week, provided there's nothing weird going on, there's no other pay-per-view that I'm not aware of, right? We are going to be pulling double duty on the watch-alongs next Sunday. So prior to our regular watch-along, we're going to do a 2-hour watch-along during the day for members only. It's going to be open to the public for viewing, but only members can participate in the chat. So we'll be doing that in the afternoon on Sunday, probably during a lot of NFL. But I ran a poll, and that's when the members decided would be the best time to do it. I think I put up Mondays before Raw, Fridays before SmackDown, or Sundays before the watch-along, and unanimously, Sunday was the choice. So we're going to be doing that next week, and I'll pick an idea or I'll pick a show for that real soon, within the next day or two. Canadian Stampede is possible. I got to look back at the suggestions in the poll, and we might just stick up a poll. Yeah, I've got the game on here. WWE fan, we're eyeballing it. Russian leg sweep to Sting. Beware of dog. We could do beware of dog. I forget how Hart gets the advantage here. I know a baseball bat is involved. Michael Cuomo, appreciate the $5. I agree totally. Seems like maybe would have worked out better if Owen went to WCW and Bulldog stayed in WWE, for sure. I hated seeing that too. It just broke my heart to see Anvil and Bulldog in WCW coming out having meaningless matches on TV for no reason. No Hart Foundation. I mean, they had 3/4 of the Hart Foundation come over. That was a strong faction in WWE. And Bulldog and Jim basically followed Bret. They could have tried to reform that, but Owen really rounded out that group. Of course, Pillman passed away. Oh, Bret's faking his knee injury. Hey, Final Four's not a bad idea either. Now Bret's got a foreign object or something. It would have been weird to see Owen in WCW, though. I don't think Owen would have been much better off there, to be honest. I mean, WWE, at least he was doing some stuff. Would have been interesting, though, with him there with Bret, and plus he also would have lived because there would have been no Blue Blazer. But in terms of his career, I don't know if he would have been necessarily used better. But who cares? He'd be alive. Hold on 1 second.
Bret the Hitman Hart has turned the pace of this match around, the tide of this battle around, and
Since my cat is right here, gives me an opportunity to give him his medicine, which he might run away from. Here, buddy. Open. Open. Good job. Ooh, we did it. Yeah, we did it on live stream. He has to have this every 12 hours. And I'm 2 hours late giving it to him, so figured I'd do it now since he was sitting right in front of me. Sorry, buddy. He's such a trooper. Those fans are so close. Jeez. All that popcorn. Bret loves to say F you to people. Davey joining the Nation would have been funny. I think that would have maybe more humorous than Owen. Equally humorous. Davey joining the Nation. He definitely had a little more badass look to him. You know, with the physique, he might match the Nation a little bit more in that regard. But I think they'd both be equally funny. Oh, Bret leg drops Billy Silverman. He's like, hey, I refed your matches in WWE, dude. Oh, Sting firing away on Bret. Rights and lefts. I was about to say, you can't whip Bret into the other turnbuckle because the ref's in the way. Oh, wow, Bret. No, he just leapt right over Silverman. It's a lot of trust by Billy. I'd be freaking out. Bret going to the top rope. What are you doing? Oh, my God. Bret crotched himself. That was a rough landing. Bret's never successfully executed many top rope moves. He had a pretty sweet top rope elbow once to Austin. Oh, look. Jesus Christ. Do we want to be doing this? Fucking superplex with the referee laying completely in the middle of the ring and Bret landed on him. Jesus. He could have smashed his leg to hell. Crazy. Yeah, Tatanani, we got a tie game. Bottom of the fifth, 4-4. 2 out. Yankees are up. Nobody on. And a partridge in a pear tree. Oh, wow. Did he overshoot the Stinger Splash? He did. He hit the post. Yeah, he did. And there, Bret's got the bat. Oh, yeah, that's right. And then 3, 4 bat shots to the back of the head and 1 to the face. Yeah. Hey, buddy, I'm sorry for giving you that squirt, man. Sorry. It's the way it's got to be. Twice a day for the rest of your life. Sorry. The ref's legs. I have no legs. Come on, Billy, wake up. I know. Now you're trying to wake up, Billy? Oh, he's going to put him in the sharpshooter now. I love it. I love it. Sting, he passed out from the pain. It's just like Steve Austin. Red all over Sting's face, just like Steve Austin. It's the same finish. It's WrestleMania 13 all over again. Sting is trying so hard. And Shamrock calls for the bell. And Brett retains the U.S. title. Right on. What is this noise? Is that the music? What are we listening to? What are we listening to? Is this his music? That isn't the music that Brett came out to. Is it? It's not. I don't understand the music editing on Peacock. Mike Witt, 3:45 a.m. Damn, bro. Well, good night. It is only 7:45 in the p.m. where I'm living, so you're going to be getting up while I'm still very much awake. Good luck to you. Thanks for being here as always, and go Greg Gagne. Yeah, but they didn't edit. Brett's song when he came out to the ring, though, was intact. That was the normal WCW theme. But when he won, then they edited it? What? I don't get it. No, I do not think a Brett and Great Muta match exists, no. Get some medical attention for Sting. He needs to go to see a medical professional. Just grooming my boy here. He's got a couple sticky things on him as he sleeps. They're going to stretcher Sting out. No wonder they look at the time they're wasting here, guys. It's already 2.5 hours into this. Most pay-per-views are wrapping up in 15 minutes, and they still have Hogan and Warrior and DDP and Goldberg. I guess I'm surprised this didn't dawn on me because I talked about how the pay-per-view feed didn't shut off for me. And I wasn't the wiser. I had no idea there was even an issue, but at this time, I was still well aware of how long pay-per-views lasted. And I would think that I would be questioning in my head, holy shit, they're running long here. I just don't remember what my thought process was. Certainly, this was going through my head, though. Oh, man. Make me sneeze, buddy, with all your fur. A major concussion, huh? All right, while they're stretchering Sting out here, I will be right back. You doing all right, buddy?
Yeah, that after Sting went into the corner, head first into the steel post. It's going to take us fans a while, obviously, to get this man out of the ring, so we're going to just stay with this here. Let you know that waiting in the wings, the two most anticipated matches of 1998, bar none. I guess in many ways, Hogan and Warrior, the most anticipated match of the decade. You think about they began 1990 with a legendary matchup, Hogan and Warrior in Toronto, and now 8.5 years later, here in the age of the
love that they're talking about Hogan and Warrior's legendary match in Toronto 8 years earlier. Do you want to tell us where that match was? What event? What promotion? No? Don't want to mention it?
With Hogan and the Warrior, Cage and Goldberg yet to come, and but they're really being cautious with Sting.
Have you seen any movement? Is he out? Are his eyes open or is he unconscious?
Brain, I can't answer that. That's only a question that we can ask Danny Young, our trainer, who's assigned to all of our big events, who travels with the wrestlers everywhere, and the EMTs.
God, they are really taking their time getting Sting out of here. What is Eric Bischoff doing backstage right now? Having a hoagie? Is he not being like, we got to move things along, guys. We're running out of time. Mr. I criticize everything, man, is back there thinking that he doesn't have any time issues right now? Oh, we got a broken bat. Please tell me there's cork all in it. That would be sweet. Nope, there's not. Damn.
In the midst of gigantic matches that we have and have had and are getting ready to have tonight, we do have to just follow this and then take a deep breath and get back to business as usual. That right arm is moving, and that's a good sign here.
They're putting him in the ambulance. It's one thing I miss about living in the South. It was the ambulance.
Get him out of here as quickly as possible.
The ambulance and the cement truck. It's not cement, it's cement. Cement truck. Sometimes you'll see a cement truck parked next to an ambulance, and that's real funny.
This was not one of them, unfortunately.
The jumper cables.
Get the jumper cable, says Bobby. Going to a Vegas hospital. Yeah, Michael, maybe you're right. Maybe WCW assumed they'd be able to go over, but I don't know what gave them that assumption. I can't remember what Bischoff's side of it was, or what his story is. Maybe he says, they told us we'd get extra time and then they didn't, or who knows. Whatever it is probably a lie. This is the same guy that says he was in the ring conducting an interview on live Nitro with Hulk Hogan when DX showed up and invaded. I'm like, no, you weren't. That happened at lunchtime when you were in the back picking your dingleberries. I don't know why I'm giving Bischoff so much shit today. I have no idea. My bad, Easy E. We'll move on to somebody else. Who else can we crap on? Nothing personal. Look at Hogan. He does appear to be coming out to the normal NWO music, and from what I can tell, it does not appear to be dubbed. It's the real deal, so he was not coming out to Hendrix yet, or at least he wasn't in this match. Oh, they are dubbing over Jimmy? I didn't know that. Oh, maybe they... You might be right, because the announce team is awfully quiet. You might be right. They actually might be dubbing it. I don't think this is... that sounds like that's in the arena. I don't think this is dubbed. He might not have been... When did he start using Jimmy? I can't tell. The biggest icon... See, I don't think WWE's version, if they were to dub this, would have those parts in it. The biggest icon in wrestling. I don't think all that... That would just be their 2002 NWO theme they'd throw on top of this to dub it. So I kind of think he didn't come out to Jimmy here, but I could be wrong. I have it. I have its raw original form in my archives. I can look it up. Oh my God! Here comes Warrior. It's the Renegade. Warrior. Just Warrior. His music in WWE was way better. And here he comes running. I guess I've never really listened to Ultimate Warrior's WCW theme before. One Warrior Nation. Ooh, it's got thunder in the theme too. Very scary. Oh. Nope. That man right there is no good. I wonder what the dynamic backstage was like with Hogan and Warrior at this time. I mean, obviously they were probably getting along and frenemies. I mean, most people are of the opinion the only reason this match happened is because Hogan wanted it to happen and he wanted to get his win back because he's that fucking vain. That, like, he has to get that win back from Warrior. He couldn't go his whole career, had that being the one man he didn't beat. Once again, we will reference the absolutely horrendous-looking VHS tape artwork to this event with Hogan choking Warrior with his weight belt there. It's just an ugly cover to a pay-per-view. It's dark-looking. There's no color to it. It's basic. They chose the weirdest still image to use instead of, I don't know, anything else. Didn't even have your world champion on it. And they highlight the worst match on the card and arguably the worst match in history. That's what you put on the front. If anything, you should just do a Hogan and Warrior graphic instead of like a picture of the match. Just do like a pay-per-view graphic or something. I don't know. Just stupid. It's ugly. Looks terrible. I don't know what I paid for it, but hopefully it wasn't more than $1. Oh yeah, Hogan's wearing one of those things. Cracked me up on a couple of, like, I guess the next year in like 99, Hogan would start trying to like dress like he's 20. He'd be wearing those weird big jeans that everybody was wearing at the time. Remember those? I never wore them, but they were everywhere. Hogan was like, I saw him on Nitro wearing that one time. I'm like, dude, you're like 55 years old. What the hell? Oh my God, Warrior and Hogan. I'm going to try to see here if we have any of repeat spots that we had in the WrestleMania 6 match. I mean, fans were on the edge of their seat, losing their mind at WrestleMania 6 when this match was happening. I was at the show in Detroit when Warrior no-showed. Gorilla would mention it on Raw. We've suspended the Warrior because he no-showed Detroit. And then he'd be replaced by Sid, who was also in Detroit that night. Sid made his return and beat Owen Hart in a match 2 days before he was announced to come back and be in Shawn and Ahmed Johnson's team. Right, buddy? Remember that? Remember when Sid came back, bub? It was a great time back in 96. Psycho Sid was back as a babyface. He was crazy. They put the belt on him. It was a crazy time, bub. I'll show you some Sid matches later. I have that Warrior. I have that Ultimate Warrior comic. They gave it to me that night. I got a whole bag full of shit when I was backstage at that event. I had a Warrior comic in there, a Warrior t-shirt, a whole bunch of other stuff, but I laughed that they were chucking Warrior merch in there. Like, well, might as well get rid of this. We'll give it away to the meet and greets. Oh, shit. New York took the lead, 5-4. I didn't even notice that. 2 outs. Was that a homer then? There's nobody on. Must have been a home run. And Judge is at the plate. Holy crap. Hogan putting the boots to Warrior. God, these two guys. What was Benoit doing at this time? Why is he not on this card? Do I think WWE could have done a Hogan heel turn after WrestleMania 6? I don't think so yet. Not quite yet. I don't blame Vince for wanting to run with that a little bit longer. I think when he started slimming down, I think around WrestleMania 8, to me, that's when his appearance started to change. You know, he still looked like Hogan to me all the way through WrestleMania 7. And then after that, you could start to notice he was getting off the sauce. And he started just to look different, looked a lot leaner. His eyebrows were no longer blonde. They were dark. He was losing even more hair. Yeah, we've seen no real Horseman representation on the show. That's why I'm trying to think what they were up to around this time. No Eddie, no Benoit on the show. I mean, the ridiculous matches they've put on this card. I mean, we had Wrath and Ming earlier. We had Lodi and whoever the fuck earlier. We had 2 Disco Inferno matches. So much stuff could have been easily shaved off, not done on TV instead, full-blown scrapped. And you wouldn't have compromised any storylines. They were all just filler matches. It feels like Bischoff put 2 people in charge of coming up with filler matches and forgot. And then when they both gave them their list, he did them both instead of doing one of them. Because it really feels like we had about 3 matches extra on this card we didn't need, at least. But I think if you shave off 3, then you got time for Goldberg and DDP. All right, Warrior's now slammed Hogan. He's starting to Warrior up. Clothesline. Hogan goes over the top rope. That's a WrestleMania 6 spot. Same thing. Same body slam. Same clothesline over the top. Same side of the ring that it happened on. But at WrestleMania 6, Hogan had injured his knee. I mean, they're chanting Hogan sucks, but nobody's really going that nuts for the Warrior either. Warrior in WCW, so weird to see. Michael Cuomo, appreciate the $2. Rumble 92 should have been the Hogan heel turn. Yeah, I could see that. That would have worked perfectly. He kind of did. He acted like a little bitch after he lost that and helped pull out Sid. He should have just turned heel there, faced Sid at WrestleMania, and lost to him. It's probably how that should have gone. Oh, please. Down goes Nicky Patrick. And then he elbows or knees him in the face. What a dick. Oh, he's calling for reinforcements. The Giant. Well, I'm glad he's not smoking a Newport on his way down to the ring this time. Wow, Giant and Warrior. I can't think of many times these two have been together. Wow, and Giant kicks Hogan. Clothesline. Oh, wow. Over goes the Giant. Uh-oh, Virgil and Warrior. Wow, they've got some history. And Warrior's covering Hogan, but no referee. All right, Hogan's going for a belly to back. At some point, he's going to be whipping out that that flash paper. It's so horrible. It's the worst match I've ever seen. And then Nick Patrick with his weird funny counts isn't helping. But he can't. Where's the other half of that gummy? Where's the other half of that edible? Here it is. Jesus, watching Hogan and Warrior. Past the bleach. That's the opposite of lotion, by the way. Oh, he's got the belt. The famous workout belt. Before replica belts were a thing. Because believe it or not, they used to not exist. You used to have to make your own. Oh, wow. And there is our VHS artwork right there with Hogan choking Warrior and Patrick trying to get him off. I remember in high school going to the weight room and like the weight belts, you know, put it on your shoulder and that type of shit. It was the closest thing. I mean, it was a big leather strap and felt kind of real. Slap some sparkles on it, you got yourself a championship belt. Fox Star Killer, appreciate that super chat from you. Thank you for the 5. I just love that for a time in the Monday Night Wars, the top faces of WCW and the WWF were Sid Vicious and The Rock, respectively. It is weird. WCW was running out of top faces there at the end. And plus, Sid only has half the brain that you do, according to him. Yeah, Warrior and Bulldog were kind of fired at the same time in '92. That's why Bulldog dropped the belt to Shawn, and Warrior bounced and was knocked out of the Survivor Series match. Had something to do with steroids. Up now, Warrior's taking his belt off. Ooh, this is about to get kinky. Oh, receipt. Now Warrior's going to start whipping Hogan with the belt, with the weight belt. Fans are kind of into it. This match is just all kinds of bad. Put us out of our misery, please. Ooh, he is safe. Altuve's safe at first. As Astros try to wrap this up and not prolong the inevitable, but they are down a run. But they got a man on base. I don't think RVD would have been bigger in WCW than in WWE. I think WWE actually treated Rob relatively well. Okay, here's the flash paper. Oh, God. So he tried to throw it, missed, and then tried to throw it again, but by then it just went off right in his own face. Hogan's busted open. So now I guess they have to... I think that was supposed to be part of the finish. So they just do something else here instead, but... Warrior's going to the top for a couple of axe handles. I don't know why he does this. The botched fireball. Oh, they're going to replay this. Ooh, that's actually very close. That replay. Ooh, he looks like he might be out. I don't know. It's a tough call. I wouldn't want to be an umpire in that game. All right, Hogan's got Warrior down. Is he going to leg drop him and pin him here? Fans are on their feet. It's Horace and Bischoff. He remembers all right. Clothesline to Hogan. Here we go. Hogan's got to get up quick for those. Bischoff's up on the apron. He's grabbing a hold of Nick. Here comes Horace. Oh. Like, how stupid is Nick Pat? That's so terrible. Like, how stupid is Nick Patrick to allow Eric Bischoff to put him in a headlock on the apron, and then when Bischoff lets him go, Hogan's magically covering Warrior? Like, if a real referee, like, I'm not counting that. How fucking stupid do you think I am? Apparently very stupid because my name's Nick Patrick, but whatever. That's the worst match I've ever seen. A match between two guys I don't like, a referee I hate, a run-in by a guy who's also no picnic these days, and a guy I don't even care about. Jesus, man, what a terrible match. Finally over. And Horace Hogan back with Uncle Hulk, Uncle Terry. You passed the test, Horace. Damn, look at those stitches. Wow. Oh, we're going to light Warrior on fire? Okay. This won't bring about criminal charges in any way? Oh, Dillinger's in there. Look at Doug Dillinger taking the gun away from Hogan, taking the lighter away. Is Warrior going to do his trapdoor trick here or what? NWO. Poor Warrior. Such a shame you lost. Came back into WCW, took a payday, and lost to Hogan. Yes, we've definitely suffered enough, Ray. My God. I think the chat has suffered enough too. My God, pretty low audience. But we still got DDP and Goldberg coming up in the main event. The tragedy that was averted. Yeah, we didn't have a crispy, well-done Warrior. Yeah, they are already about 10 minutes over, 12 minutes over when they're supposed to. At best, they probably only have 3 minutes left of their overrun at the top of the hour. So I think when you guys mentioned the overrun earlier, I think they're in the overrun. I think the overrun ran. Because WWE's pay-per-views would always end right at 2 hours and 45 minutes. And I think you could go the full 3 hours if you had to. But look, we're at the top of the third hour here in 2 minutes, and the match hasn't even started yet. But wait, there's more. All right, Houston's got a man on first, one out. Down one, top of the seventh. Hogan beats the Warrior, and Buffer is introducing Goldberg and DDP. I'm glad his name's not just Dallas Page. I'm glad it's not Goldberg versus DP. Let's get ready to suck it. That's the only thing I want to say. I don't want to get ready to rumble. No, this is not DDP's music. This is dubbed bullshit. Diamond Dallas Page. I do remember this being a good match. It's highly praised as Goldberg's best. Definitely the best of his WCW run. The Jersey Shore. Who never surrenders and never avoids any opponent. That's what Buffer just said. He never avoids any opponent. Oh, Yankees fucked the double play up. Oh, no. Oh, shit. That could cost them. That's going to put two men on for Houston in what could have been a double play. Wow. Wow. Self-high five. Self-high five all of y'all. Thanks for being here tonight. Sundays are the best. People's champion. Easy now, Mike Tenay. Yeah, we were right around the time of The Rock about to win the WWE title. SummerSlam, or Survivor Series, the next month. Deadly Game. And here comes Goldberg. This was the same month, probably around the same weekend. Might have been even the day before, I forgot. But WWE's pay-per-view this month, they ran the angle where Austin got fired, right? Vince fired him from the box. Here comes Goldberg. But then that week, Austin was still booked for the live events. And they weren't going to bring him back and unfire him until like the following week on Raw. And I was going to a house show that weekend. And I sat front row, and Austin still worked the show. And I've talked about that show before. We almost got trampled because security was kind of low and people went nuts for Austin back in those days. And it was just a house show. But I went with my friend. She went with me, and we sat front row, sat next to John Boy and Billy, who's like a radio act in the Carolinas or in the South. I don't even know if they're still together. But that was all going on like the same series of days here, same month. I just don't recall when all that was going on exactly. Goldberg, if you're so tough, why do you need so many cops? Looks like Miss Elizabeth coming down to the ring at WrestleMania 5. Have you ever seen that? The amount of security she had? Judgment Day 98. Thank you. I'm like, well, I knew it wasn't No Mercy. It was Judgment Day. And the first thing I thought of, we watched the pay-per-view that night, and when Vince said you're fired, I'm like, I'm going to the show on Saturday or what? I'm pretty sure it was like that Saturday. I'm like, I'm going to the show on Saturday. Does that mean Austin's not going to be there? But of course, they weren't going to do that to the live event crowd, so they made up some bullshit story that Austin still had to, even though he was fired, he still had to fulfill his contractual obligations, which is bullshit. And here comes Goldberg, standing in front of that Halloween Havoc set. That's a pretty cool visual right there. Sparklers, pyro. They are now way over time here, 3 hours and 3 minutes in, and Goldberg is still making his entrance. They are 20 minutes over on the pay-per-view before the main event even starts. Crazy. Funny thing is, this match is shorter than I thought. I thought these guys gave us a good 20 minutes here, but this is only it's going to be a 13-minute match or less. It's going to be a 10-minute match. And defending. He's a lot of things. He's undefeated and undisputed. Goldberg. Right on, Goldberg. At the time, I was still very much pro Austin and anti-Goldberg, but I couldn't deny Goldberg's what he brought. Oh, we got a tie game. Houston did tie it up. I mean, he was so over, man. In my mind as a fan at the time, I felt like I saw through him and I saw through what WCW was doing. But really when you think about it, he's actually a star that they did create, and that's not something they did very often, is create stars. And Goldberg was able to create his own personality and style, even though when he first came in, I was convinced that he was just their way of ripping off Stone Cold. Because he came in as a heel, if you remember. He beat Hugh Morris, and he was kind of silent, didn't talk, and he had a bald head and goatee, black trunks, black boots, kicked ass, left, didn't do anything. I'm like, they're trying to rip off Austin. They got to look alike. They've got to look alike Steve Austin. And as we would come to find out, they would have much different personas. But that bald head and goatee look was going to make him an automatic counterpart to Austin. And I thought, and there it is. So apparently during that spill through the middle rope there, that's when the feed cuts off. So that would have been 5 minutes past. So they probably even gave him an extra 5 minutes. I think technically they have until 2 hours and 45 minutes, but they can push it to the 3 hours if they would like. And then they even gave him another 5 minutes after that. And they still weren't completely done. But like I said, for me watching at home, I got a blip in the screen. Like it went dark and then it came back up. But the match finished for me. And I'm curious about how many other markets in the country lost the feed, because I did not. Wow, first and third, one out for Houston, and it is a tie game. Nervous Nellies in Yankee Stadium. Yeah, and then Nitro had to air it the following night. I don't think WWE ever brought in Buffer. I don't think. Oh, they just took the lead. 6-5 for Houston. Might as well just wrap it up. It's 3-0, man. Just finish it. Get the World Series done and over with. It's almost November. Let's finish up baseball and get on to the other sports. So far. And DDP, it felt like right from the word go, he was giving Goldberg just a different level of competition than what he had seen up until that point. He hadn't been in, this is the biggest test so far. Was champion anyway. Another thing that helped them here is what sometimes happens in wrestling. Just two guys that you wouldn't necessarily think would make magic, just have some really weird natural chemistry. Happens all the time. Buffer was at the 2008 Rumble? No shit. Why? Announcing what match? 2008. WrestleMania 24? What was he there announcing? Austin would have been very much the same if he wouldn't have been injured by Owen. I just think he would have had a little bit more of versatility in the ring because he was already stone cold when that pile driver happened. He wasn't working that super technical. I mean, he kind of was, but he would be turning more into a brawler. But I think his character would have taken him in that direction anyway. It would have been nice, for him to have a little bit more of a move set, maybe do some top rope stuff and everything like he used to be able to. But for the most part, he was just starting to brawl and kick ass anyway. So he lucked out, that the style fit who his personality and character was. Second and third, 2 outs. 6-5 Houston. Oh, big side slam. That he is. That's crazy that they brought him in for that. That was the one at MSG? I guess it was, huh? I remember that Royal Rumble because when I ordered it on pay-per-view, I think it was one of the first pay-per-views I ordered on HD when WWE expanded to the HD format. I had a new high-def television, although it wasn't a 1080p. It was only a 720p, but still, that was a big upgrade in picture quality. And I remember when WWE switched to the format, that widened format was just mind-blowing to me. Oh! He did hit the post hard. This is your chance. It's your one chance to beat Goldberg, 154-0. Step on it, DDP. Get out there. All right, Yankees are out of the inning, but they are down a run going into the 8th. Shake it off, Goldberg. Come on. Get in there. Yeah. It was kind of fun to see Goldberg hurt like this because it was really rare at this time. I'm like, DDP, come on. Killer instinct. You're a veteran. Get on him. You're going to have to capitalize on a big mistake anyway if you even expect to beat a guy like Goldberg. You know what? I think if DDP ended the streak, nobody would have a problem with it. Or maybe people would, but in hindsight, but Nash ending the streak really rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. And I think giving it to DDP would have made the fans happy because a lot of fans would have felt like he deserved it. DDP didn't beat the streak because he politicked or had the pencil or, or did anything like that. He beat it because he earned it. The company said, this is the guy the fans would like to see do this. WCW didn't operate that way, and that was a spear from hell. God damn. It amazes me that DDP's still alive doing yoga after a spear like that. And Goldberg hit him high. He hit him more chest than he did down here. And he leveled. Oh, my God. Absolutely leveled Jewel Houston Page. Yeah, this is easily the best match of the night, I think. Yeah, you got to jackhammer him with one hand. He can do it with no arms. Oh, he can't do it. Cutter him. He's going to go. Come on. This is where I'd cutter him right here. Come on, DDP. Get up. Cutter. Jackhammer, another attempt. Oh. Boom, cutter. And the cutter was over, too, because, the cutter was a move a lot like the stunner, So it got a pop when you hit it. But DDP's way too far. See, that would have been great in, in an alternate universe somewhere. DDP covers Goldberg and gets the win. How in the world does this somehow wrap up in the next 2 minutes? I guess it does. And kicked out. It's funny, last week we had a long pay-per-view too because Piper's debut came at the end of the show, and it was nearly 3 hours, and we're going 3 hours 16 for Havoc here. There he is. He's up. Wow. And he's got him. Wow. Goldberg took it was a hell of a test. Took a diamond cutter. Shattered his shoulder. That was as close as he was going to come to losing until he actually lost. One of Goldberg's better matches of his career. 11 minutes, but good. What's up, Juliet? This is the longest watch-along you've been a part of. We'll wait until WrestleMania season because we'll be busting out a lot of those, and many of those are 4 hours long. So WrestleMania time, we'll be doing some very long ones. I like the respect. That's kind of cool. Nice code of honor. Ooh, look, up next, Season 11, Episode 1, Halloween Havoc 1999. We could probably just watch that one next if y'all are up for it. I'm just kidding. I am starving, and I am ready to have some dinner. All right, and that is the end of that. Well, WCW ran extremely long, 3 hours and 16 minutes on that Halloween Havoc time. And like I said, they cut off right around the 3-hour mark there for most of the pay-per-view audience at home, except for me. I got to see the whole match, and it was fun to go back and watch this with you guys again. Thank you very much for being here this evening. I know there was a lot going on. We've got Yankees and Houston on right now. There's football going on, all sorts of football and baseball in general happening right now. So I'm glad that you guys were able to hang out with us tonight and watch Halloween Havoc 1998. Next week, 1 week from today, We are going to be up here for double duty prior to our 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific watch-along open to the public. We're going to be doing a members-only watch-along of a 2-hour Raw or Nitro or pay-per-view prior to that next Sunday. We'll probably do that at about 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific, and give us an hour break in between before we do the next one. So we'll be doing that next week. I will not be here for a Raw review tomorrow, but you might hear from me on Tuesday, and then we will be here on Wednesday, of course, for Dynamite. Looks to be another good show lined up on Wednesday, so we'll be here for a watch-along on that day, possibly with a mic drop news brief somewhere in there this week as well. Wouldn't be surprised at all, so just stay tuned and make sure you subscribe. Thanks again for hanging out. Ooh, Buried Alive, I like it. It's on the list, Ray Frand. That's for sure. Let me just scroll up and make sure I didn't leave any super chats hanging. I don't think I did. Right on. You guys have a good rest of your Sunday night, rest of your weekend, what's left of it, and good luck jumping into your week tomorrow. And I'll catch you back on the channel real soon.